2, 1.
And ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the prosecution is not going to get that man today. No, because I'm going to get him.
This is the Hagmann and Hagmann report for today, Monday, November 12th, 2012. I'm Doug Hagmann. With me is my co-host, my son, Joe Hagmann, and folks, you're about to hear 3 hours of totally unbiased and uncensored news and analysis. This is information that we all need to know. We all need to discuss. We all need to analyze. Folks, we broadcast each and every weeknight live from 8 to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find us on the internet at HomelandSecurityUS.com. That's HomelandSecurityUS.com. And we're also simulcast on the Christians United Broadcasting Network as well. I want to thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for your belief in us, your trust in us as we walk through this what is this, a minefield of events, current events together. We are engaged in practical earthly war and, of course, spiritual war. Folks, I want to remind everyone that we're a listener-supported broadcast. We want to thank each and every one of you who are helping us stay on the air through your financial support. We just paid the last bill for October today, so thank you very much for that. And I want to thank everyone for their prayers and for telling others about this show. In fact, we're reaching record numbers. We are downloaded in 40 countries, which is just a phenomenal thing. Now, tonight we're going to be talking about the State of the Union, and we will also be taking your calls in a timely fashion. Our call-in number, should you want to weigh in on anything topical, is 661-244-9839. Just a housekeeping note. We had a scheduling issue today. Actually, Steve's not feeling the greatest tonight. And there was just a scheduling issue with him, and so we thought it best to, he asked if we could do the program tomorrow night instead of tonight. So tomorrow we'll be broadcasting from 9 to midnight rather than tonight. So we apologize for that inconvenience. And we are also trying to get some very, very many requested guests, for example, Russ Dizdar, as well as others. We're attempting to reach out, talk to these people, get them on the air, as numerous others. We're just really, I'll tell you what, folks, we're swamped with everything. Anyway, Joe, welcome to tonight's program.
Glad to be here. Despite the short notice of the scheduling change.
We're flexible, resilient guys that we are.
Yeah, we were going to have the show from 9 to midnight tonight, but now we're going to do that tomorrow night instead, but that's okay because there's a lot of news to cover.
There's no shortage of news.
No, and when changing the show title for tonight, the State of the Union is fitting because I'm reading all these articles about the changes that are coming through Obama and what he's planning to do. I see states asking to be removed from the United States as a whole. Texas and Louisiana want to be not part of the United States anymore. And then I saw an article, there's 15 states that say that they want it to recede. So the State of the Union is pretty much decimated. The only thing we have left is, secede. The only thing we have left.
What did you say?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay.
Anyway, but no, our economy's not recovering as they continue to print money with QE3. Inflation will rise.
Let me stop you right there for a second. I really want to say this. Folks, we've had Ann Barnhart on the program before. Now, for those of you who know her, she's a staunch Catholic. But with respect to her economic knowledge, her business knowledge about the economy, She did a 2.5-hour video. It's off of her website, barnhart.biz. You know, Joe, I don't know. Did you have a chance to watch it this weekend? I think she put it up last Thursday or Friday.
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, I watched it. It was like in the middle of the night. I don't know. I had it separated over 2 different nights, and I took copious notes. And she also has a PDF you can download to follow along, and I did that too, just to be clear. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, it's a phenomenal primer as far as the economy is concerned. So I would urge everybody, if you really have questions about really, how's the economy work and what's really going on, I don't think you can get a better layout than that video, that 2.5 hours worth of video. She presents a very coherent, cogent case, and once again, this is not a religious, nothing to do with religion, nothing to do with spirituality, except to the extent that she talks about morality and integrity, and in terms of, having a good spirit. She even gets into the interest and how the interest is mentioned in the Bible in Matthew 25, that interest should be charged. So it's really an interesting, well-rounded presentation, and I just wanted to urge everyone to download it and send her a note of thanks too, because you know what, that took a lot of time for her to put together, and it's good stuff. So okay, Joe.
Okay, first thing I want to get into here, we're going to open the phone lines all night. Keep them open all night. 661-244-9839. Give us a call. Anything you want to talk about, any information you have, questions, comments, concerns. 661-244-9839.
Lottery numbers for tomorrow.
Yeah, those you can call my special line. No, I saw this story over the weekend, as well as many interesting and very important stories, but this one bothered me a little bit. I sent this to you, and don't know if you read it. Obama to unleash racial preferences juggernaut.
Yeah, this bothers me a lot.
I'm going to go through this article because what they are implying here is pretty crazy. They use the term racial preferences and equality, but really it is inequality for people who are not minorities, or for other types of minorities who don't fit the two. What is it? The two top minorities in the U.S. are Latino and African American.
Well, it depends on the forms. It's other than white, or white or other than white. But go ahead.
What white people make up the most percentage. Then I think African Americans. Then Latinos, which are Latinos are growing the fastest. I think, because I looked at these figures over the weekend.
Okay.
But then you have other. I mean, you have a lot of other. How many other countries are there in the world? There's people here from.
You've got Asian.
Private investigation work. We would get people from just in our city alone from all over the place.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Anyway, this Obama's unleashing of racial preferences is. It says if your organization has a policy or practice that doesn't benefit minorities equally, watch out. The Obama administration could sue you for racial discrimination under a dubious legal theory that many argue is unconstitutional. President Obama intends to close persistent gaps between whites and minorities and everything from credit scores and home ownership to test scores and graduation rates. His remedy, short of a new affirmative action legislation, is to sue financial companies, schools, employers based on disparate impact complaints, a stealthy way to achieve racial preferences opposed 2-to-1 by Americans. Under this broad interpretation of civil rights law, virtually any organization can be held liable for race bias if it maintains a policy that negatively impacts one racial group more than another, even if it has no racist motive and applies the policy evenly across all groups. And then the next subcategory, equal outcomes. Now, this is something that we need to discuss what this means, equal outcomes. This is not what America was set up to be. You know, we're not guaranteed equal outcomes. We are only guaranteed equal opportunity. And this blurring of the line, this is all goes into
this
the
is actually racism. I mean, this is racism in practice.
This is equal outcomes. This means that even race-neutral rules for mortgage underwriting and consumer credit scoring potentially can be deemed racist if prosecutors can produce statistics showing they tend to result in adverse outcomes for blacks or Latinos. Already, Eric Holder, Attorney General, has used the club of disparate impact lawsuits to beat almost $500 million in loan set-asides and other claims out of the nation's largest banks.
Well, what this is the Saul Alinsky methods in operation. It's oh man.
I mean, this is crazy because just like we'll take the gay rights agenda. They claim that they just want to be treated fairly like everybody else. And it turns out they want to be treated special.
Better than.
Right.
That's correct.
Than everybody.
And I must say, with respect to the economic aspect of things, sorry to bring this up again. It's not that this Ann Barnhart video is just fabulous because she talks about this. This racism in loans here right now. The American Bankers Association recently advised 5,000 members to give rejected minority loan applicants a second look, which it says can result in suggested changes in underwriting standards. So what they're saying is, hey, if you've got a borrower that's black, or if you've got a borrower that's other than white, give it a second look, and if you have to, lower the standards for the loan criteria. This is what's taking place. Yeah. And it's wrong. I don't care if it's for whites, blacks, purple people from Mars. It's wrong.
They're making it wrong. They're making it about race.
Well, of course they are.
And it should be the same across the board for anybody and everybody, regardless.
And so we have, okay.
But think of the implications of this, though. They say that this is so broad of the definition so broad here. The example they use, the credit.
Well, yeah, I understand
that they can, if it impacts, basically saying, because you have a bad credit score, because of your actions, even though your actions caused you to get this credit score, and you can't have this credit card.
But if you're black, it's not really a problem.
Right. And to take it further, what you said about the loans, a commenter sums that up perfectly here. They say it's interesting how mortgage companies were in trouble for providing credit to people deemed unworthy of credit, and the mortgage crisis resulted. Now we want to double down and make sure people deemed unworthy of credit are given opportunities denied when considering racial preferences. And basically saying that, banks are going to be afraid to deny people getting hit once or twice by a lawsuit like this.
Look, this is all about Obama's second term. He's opening the gates of hell, regardless of what you might believe. And you know what, folks? If there are any minorities listening out there who disagree with what we're saying, who feel that, hey, we should be getting a more less. Call. You know what? We'll talk with you. And again, that number is 661-244-9839.
We had an explosion in Indianapolis, outside Indianapolis. I think we mentioned that on Friday. Not sure if we did or if it was over the weekend.
This was on Saturday night.
No, we did mention it because there was an article we got before the show that said a drone strike hit Indianapolis.
Oh, I thought this was on Saturday night. I'm not sure.
That was one. One theory. Another theory is a furnace causing this destruction. People in the chat room are saying there's no gas leaks. I guess the company confirmed there was no gas leaks. Saturday night. I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah. Look, here's the problem I have, and Steve Quayle has got this on his website. In fact, he had sent me some. Thank goodness I didn't post this. He had sent me an unsanitized version. but the sanitized version is up on his website under the alerts. But this is from, I believe it's a police officer here. On Saturday night, he said he sat in his house around 11 o'clock p.m. and experienced an explosion so loud that he had to check on his people upstairs that were already in bed. The ground shook. He was sure that his house had sustained some sort of damage. It turns out that I am just over 4 miles in a straight line from the explosion. He didn't even put on his uniform as he climbed out to his cruiser to go to the scene. What he saw there was total devastation to 4 houses and secondary damage to surrounding houses. Some houses moved 3 feet off of their foundation. Initial speculation was it was a gas explosion. That was the initial speculation. Now, the fire side started. The fire department, that their people stated that it didn't look like the normal gas explosion where a house is lifted up and then set back down. I've seen natural gas explosions like that. It's really kind of, I don't want to say neat, but it's got a kind of a signature to it. But this had a massive debris field, much more like a bomb. The blast was higher than a normal gas explosion. Too, you have to think about how the gas explosion works. But anyway, the tree limbs were shot off at an upward trajectory, not straight out from the house that exploded. So think about that. And the other thing he says is this: the NTSB hazmat members. The NTSB stands for National Transportation Safety Board. What's up with that? NTSB hazmat members arrived at the scene. For what, a gas leak?
Yeah. Anybody from Indianapolis area who's been local there, heard local news coverage, actually felt the blast, call in 661-244-9839. We'll make sure we take your calls first. We want to get the inside scoop on this, so anybody who does live in that area and might be listening, please give us a call.
You know, I just stood up from my chair. I was going to do something to get something. And folks, you know what? Yeah.
Haven't been taking your mind regard.
You know what? Actually, I didn't today. Do you ever have those moments? You know,
I've had them. Yes.
Well, you're too young.
No, I've had them.
I stood up. I was going to go get something, and I totally forgot what I was going to get. Yeah. What was I going to do? All right. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Now, look.
Also, some of the other things we're going to get into before and then we're going to go to the phones, I guess, for a little bit. Right now, the FBI is looking at charging Petraeus. FBI deemed Petraeus a fair part of criminal, not intelligence probe. That from ABC News. Also, U.S. gun sales soar after Obama's re-election. I mean, who could have saw that coming? And this might be part of the reason why Obama, 6,125 proposed regulations and notifications posted in the last 90 days. Average 68 new laws or regulations a day.
Right. You know, I heard that on C-SPAN radio today.
Yeah.
And 68, I averaged 68 regulations per day. Actually, it was yesterday. I heard it yesterday, and then again, it was repeated today.
And John Stossel's illegal everything that was on Fox, and it was real popular. He said the average American citizen commits about 2 felonies a week without even knowing it.
And some more knowing it.
Worse. Yeah.
But, I want to say this, too, while we're talking about regulations as well. I've been getting emails about Obama's 935 executive orders. Folks, it's not 935 executive orders. There are 140 or 141.
141,
okay.
As we talked last time.
Well, I said 141. I think it was 140, and then one is, like, ready to go. Or maybe it's 141 now, but it's not 935. If you look at the extra judicial orders plus executive orders, yes, it's 935. But to be technically accurate, it's 140, 141. So please, when you talk, because sticklers for accuracy are gonna be holding you to that. The Benghazi situation. A couple of news notes here before I turn it back over to you, Joe. Folks, if you didn't already do this, please take a read at HomelandSecurityUS.com. Cover up at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. It's a short article. It was posted on Saturday. It's also at CanadaFreePress.com, where you can leave a comment. It's been sent over 380,000 times in the internet. It's got 1.2 million page views, I believe, in Canada Free Press. 1.2, no, actually more than that. But do me a favor. But please spread that around. It's important to understand. You've got 3- and 4-star generals. You've got high-level officials that are being either forced out or leaving, resigning because of alleged, dalliances and what have you.
Right.
But this one is important because it does connect Lockheed Martin. It throws Lockheed Martin in the mix.
Yes,
and you're going to be hearing more about that.
Lockheed Martin is the biggest defense supplier of. They make the drones, the jets. The biggest contract for defense is Lockheed Martin. One of the things that Petraeus' resignation, it brought up a lot of questions. One being, does he have to testify? People were saying, it's so convenient he resigns before he has to testify. But my question is, he was head of the CIA when this thing happened, when this Benghazi situation happened. He was head of the CIA all the way up until the end of last week. He was in the know up until that point, which,
the rules are different.
And that's what you explained.
That's right. The rules are different, and this was done. Now, this is one thing I asked my source, my intelligence source, and if he's listening, God bless you, sir, for putting up with me, my questions, my constant questions, and trying to get a handle on things, and what a patient man you are. Now, that said, I asked him point blank. I said, look, in the end, after hours, and hours of discussion and analysis and news and, giving me information, is Petraeus a good guy? Is he a good guy or a bad guy? Seriously, what, in the scheme of things? And he said, well, it would appear that he's a good guy, in terms of what he was trying to do, but he was put into an unworkable situation. He was forced out. Now, there's a lot of backstory that, I can't get into, that will come out, hopefully, and if it doesn't come out, we'll force it out. But until that time, just give him the benefit of the doubt at this point, because things can happen where, you're in a situation where, not only is your career ruined and your marital life is ruined by a self-inflicted wound, but something that has already been, they knew about this. Obama, Clinton, Panetta, all these people knew about this in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Amazing.
So,
it's not all they knew. Other things came out that they were hiding, that the media was hiding and not releasing before the elections, and they were waiting until after the elections. One being the food stamp surge, most in 1 month. Food stamp surge by most in 1 year to new all-time record in delayed release. While there has been speculation that the Bureau of Labor Statistics may delay the release of its October non-farm payroll number until after the election, it turned out there was no reason to worry. Perhaps this is because the number, while at stall speed, was not quite as horrible as some had predicted. There was, however, another closely tracked number to which perhaps is far more indicative of the economic growth in the past 4 years, which certainly had a delayed release. The number, of course, is that showing how many Americans are on food stamps, and usually is released at the end of the month or the first day of the 2 months, or the first day or two of the next month. This time, the USDA delayed its release until 9 days past the semi-official deadline, far past the election, and until Friday night to report August food stamps data. At a glance, the number reveals why. a $47.1 million, or 47.1 million people are now on food stamps. This is
okay. Now tell me
not
again,
only a new all-time record, but the biggest monthly increase of 420,947 from July.
But how many in total?
Biggest monthly increase in a year. Now 47,100,000.
All right. So what does that on food stamps only?
Right.
Okay. All right.
Right. And you think of that, maybe each person that's on food stamps, you have to say at least there's probably 2 people affected, or 2 people relying on those, because some families have, 4 people relying on those. Some people have more or less. But you're talking about a majority of the nation is on food stamps.
Well, no, I wouldn't say
not
majority.
The majority, but not a majority, a very big minority, a scary minority, like a fifth, or even a fourth of the people, including the children and other people.
Well, no, but when you take other entitlement programs, and I'm not talking about pension programs where one pays into, but entitlement programs where it's just nothing more than an entitlement program, you're edging up to that halfway mark. In fact, I've seen some reports that we've actually surpassed that halfway mark, which is why there's an issue with respect to the malaise in this country. Folks, America has been balkanized, and I want people to go back to, really, if you really want to know when this all started, you really have to take a look at the administration of Lyndon Baines Johnson. A little bit before that with Kennedy, but Lyndon Baines Johnson. What Johnson did, along with Kennedy, Ted Kennedy at the time, and others in Congress, what they did to dilute and to balkanize the United States of America to such an extent that it has now become unrecognizable in many areas of this country.
And it's not just that, it's the continuation of those same policies and agendas throughout the different presidencies that has led to this. Nobody is stepping up to the plate to change things from where they were going, and now we are, as we say, on a speeding train falling off a cliff.
Right. A couple more things before I turn it over to you. Please, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind, I don't like to pimp my articles, but this is for a larger cause. On HomelandSecurityUS.com, there is a story about a 58-year-old woman, her experiences with the TSA.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Go to HomelandSecurityUS.com and spend a few minutes watching that video. It's a few minutes long. Listen to what she's got to say. Now, in addition to that, read the article, and if I can impose upon you to spread the article around or spread the video around, I don't care how you do it. If you just want to do it yourself, write it up yourself, or however, get the word out there. But one thing I'd like you to do is go down in the front page a little ways where our YouTube video is. Joe and I did a YouTube video last week where we are promoting the opt-out and film week of the TSA. I would really, 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 really would like everyone to get behind that initiative. The TSA is the most visible and vulnerable aspect of the DHS apparatus that's out of control. We can make a difference.
And as you know, the Homeland Security, the executive order making the Department of Homeland Security and local law enforcement more cooperative and intertwined as we move towards the merger of the federalized police and our local police force. We're seeing them just either merge into the federal force or go away. We are really going to have a Homeland Security TSA-style police out there patrolling the streets, in my opinion, and this is the last thing we need. These people need to be backed down, put in their place, which is on the sidelines until they receive evidence or information of a real terrorist attack going to start.
Well, we're seeing in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Yeah,
we're seeing the armored vehicles with 4 cameras mounted on top of these vehicles, going down the neighborhood and videotaping the streets, the homes, the properties of residents. Look, this is beyond the pale. This is not about, at some point, it stops being about security, and it begins to encroach into control. And this is where we're at. The same thing with the TSA. We cannot afford, we have to stop the TSA in their tracks right now. If we can score a win against the TSA, and I was told today, because of our efforts, that we are on a list. In fact, today it was basically, go ahead and try to fly somewhere. That was told to me this morning.
Well, people say that, you don't like the security, don't fly.
Well,
it's not an option anymore, because what are they going to say? If you don't like the security, don't leave your house?
Well, I mean, look, I will not fly domestically.
No.
I will drive. If I have to drive across country, I will. Although I can see no reason to go to California for any reason, but
the weather.
No, not even for that. But look, we can speak with our wallets. We can bankrupt the airlines. Now, if you have to fly, or if you are planning to fly for the Thanksgiving holiday weekend, what I would really urge everyone to do is just unify, get together and say, look, we're not going to submit to this unconstitutional, warrantless search, this violation of our Fourth Amendment rights. And what are they going to do if everyone does that? They're going to back down. These people are cowards.
Yeah.
They're not law enforcement officers. They're not commissioned law enforcement officers. We have to stop this tyranny, and this is the way to do it. In fact, if you can, let Alex Jones know that we're behind this. Send him an email. Send others an email to get behind this initiative as well. Let's do it. And this is so important.
It is important, and hopefully, people can get behind this. They showed their weakness last time. History has shown that they will back down to avoid the confrontation, and as long as that we get that far with it, that is we're sharks in the water and we smell blood then. That's when we step up the effort even more. So it's not a weekly campaign. It's a daily campaign that doesn't, that lasts as long until they go away or do something else. We can't back down. If we sense that they are doing what they did last time, shutting down the security measures.
And they will, because they've got no other option.
Then we really step up.
That's right.
At that point. Not like last time where everything stops and goes back to normal.
No.
To me, that was a mistake.
We have to push and push and push and push and say, look, not today, not tomorrow, not ever, never again. Get out. Get out. And I want to make an appeal to the men of this country. If you're listening to this somewhere, in your car, on replay, I want to make an appeal to the men of this country. Be a man. Step up. Be a man. Protect your family. Protect your wife. Protect your daughter. Protect your family. And be the person that God has appointed you to be in your family. It's up to you to protect your family. Now, if you're a single woman or widowed or whatever, or a young person, you can do this too. Okay, it doesn't matter. But for the men, and especially for the men of this country, look, act like men. Mm-hmm. Wear your big boy pants. Now, this doesn't mean to be stupid or to be idiotic and to be, to cause trouble. No, you don't have to do that. It's very simple.
You can be polite.
Very polite.
You can be non-combative, non-aggressive.
That's right.
And still get your point across.
Exactly, and it's very simple. No, I'm not going to, no, you're not going to put me through the nuclear scanner, and no, you're not going to pat me down.
No, thank you.
Exactly, no, thank you. That's right. And watching that video of that 58-year-old woman, it really hit home to me.
Hearing the story about the same man who had not one time went through security at the TSA, was taken into the back room because of his colostomy bag, had the TSA agents break it open, break it, and spill urine all over
that would be
the man.
Terrible.
It happened to the man twice. Okay.
Well,
I mean, that's one example. The diapers on older people, little children.
You're going to change your mind pretty soon, you know.
What is it? One of the Miss USA or Miss somebody said she was molested. Made a video.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it never ends.
But people have to understand that there are, regardless of, first of all, number one, regardless of what they tell you, they do keep lists, they do keep photographs, they do keep a database. Everything that if you think that they erase these things, you're wrong. They do not keep these are not cartoons. These are graphic. And I dare say, having seen them, I would not post one on our internet site because it does rise to the level of pornography.
And speaking of databases, switching gears here, this is from Russia Today, a glimpse into what is going on in the USA, probably at a times 10 level. This only in the United Kingdom. Big Brother UK, 8 million children recorded on massive secret database. A newly uncovered clandestine computer network known as the One System can reportedly share children's personal details across different UK agencies, including age, sex, address, and their school behavior records, all without parents ever knowing. One of Britain's biggest government contractors has created a database containing the personal details of 8 million children, the Sunday Times revealed. The database was created by Capita, a company specializing in IT systems, and includes information on a child's sex, age, exam results, if they have special needs, bad behavior like absenteeism, and how many minutes late they are to lessons. This information can then be shared with numerous agencies, including the police, the NHS, and child protection units, charities, all without parental consent. Teachers collect data on all children, not just ones deemed to be at risk. This includes recording how many minutes late they are for class. It goes on to say, while information is absolutely essential to protect children, you need to collect information about children who are at risk, not every child. That from Nick Pickles, the privacy advocate group Big Brother Watch, told Russia Today. The One System is already employed by 100 local authorities, and it was created 2 years after Contact Point, a similar database which was set up by the Labour government but scrapped at the current coalition because of security concerns. Documents obtained by the Sunday Times revealed that the classroom information is gathered by teachers and submitted to the One System up to 6 times per day to provide a golden thread of data that can be accessed by anyone working with children. In an Orwellian twist, the firm hires photographers to take pictures of school children, which they are then offered for sale to their parents before uploading them into the database. The only reason that they've designed this is about profit. It's not about keeping children safe, one man said. But that is what we have. A huge, you talk about the pedophilia problems and the kidnapping and that stuff and that goes on in the UK, and you get people in the biggest government, branches and biggest powerful positions in a city, and they do these kind of things, and then now they have access to lists of children with all their information on it, and this was released in the UK, about the UK. I wonder what kind of system they really have in America.
Well, we know that this system is a lot more refined in the United States. We know that the surveillance apparatus that keeps track of everything is growing. The real estate, physically growing. The real estate's getting larger, and we know that all communications, cell phone communications, landline communications, faxes, text communications, emails, they're all being saved. They're all being recorded and saved.
And we operate as though we know that they're being listened to and recorded. So
well, sure.
Everybody should, regardless of, even if they don't talk about anything interesting, personal, or whatever.
Well, that's
know
why
that you're being listened to on all your communications and watched.
Right.
Even if you're not doing anything illegal, it's still happening.
And that's why when I make international calls, I always start out by saying, "Hey, can you bring the meth order and the plastic explosives down to
So, yeah. Speaking of international calls, we're gonna go to calls, but first, today, this is from yesterday, a readout of the president's phone calls to world leaders. Yesterday, President Obama was able to return 2 more congratulatory messages from his counterparts by speaking on the phone with President Komorowski of Poland and Palestinian Authority President Abbas. With both leaders, the president thanked them for their partnership during his first term and expressed his desire to continue cooperating closely in the future. In the discussion with President Abbas, Obama reaffirmed his commitment to Middle East peace and his strong support for direct negotiation between Israeli and the Palestinians, with the object of the 2 states living side by side in peace and security. So Obama is pledging more peace for the Middle East. So expect the rest of that region to be annihilated.
Well, and at the third hour, folks, what I want to do is go into a wide-angle view of the geopolitical terrain that involves Benghazi. That kind of explains everything you're seeing today, right now, wide-angle view, but also attach it to the biblical, prophetic aspects of things. It won't take that long. It's not going to take the entire hour. But there are things that you have to know. I mean, there's things that are related to what we're seeing today. For example, the Stuxnet virus. That's being related. Remember the Saudi Arabian the plan to take out the Saudi Arabian ambassador here in the United States by way of a Mexican drug gang. That's related to what we're seeing. Plus, think about this, folks. While in the run-up to the third hour, in the Bible, there talks about Russia with 3 ribs in its mouth. Think about how that plays in. What we're seeing right now is something very. We're watching prophecy, Bible prophecy unfold. And for those people who don't get it or who need it reaffirmed, we're going to touch on that in the third hour. So, and one thing before we go to the phones, I want to say this: keep this in the back of your mind. Everyone should keep this in the back of your mind. And I'm going to take you back just a little bit ago, folks. Do you remember the Minot Barksdale Air Force incident? Remember back in August of 2007? Does this ring any bells with anybody before I get into it? Come on. I know. You, folks in the chat room, you can type in there. Okay, well, I will say this. August 2007. Remember when 6 nuclear warheads were kind of lost in transit? Or they were accidentally loaded on a plane and they disappeared. They went somewhere, and then they said, "Oh, we got them. No, we don't. Yeah, we got them. No, we got." Well, they were labeled wrong. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Well, okay. The latest information I have on this. Now, you guys are probably going to say, "What is you nuts?" Now, let me say this. Right now, it is my understanding, based on the most credible, well-sourced well-sourced or well-vetted sources, 2 sources. The second one I got yesterday and today, or actually today, is the strongest of the 2. 3 of those warheads, nuclear weapons, have not been recovered. Now, my question was, well, where are they? I mean, I'd like to know. Are they in the United States? And the best information I've been able to come up with, once again, based on a combination of 2 very well-connected sources. One might be, but 2 are probably not. Now, that could be wrong, but that's probably right. So, where are they? Who has them? Well, that's a bigger story, and a longer story, and a more convoluted story. One that I'm not even sure I can answer. But it does involve those 3 conspiratorial letters, NWO, New World Order. I got to tell you something. Having a couple of nukes, out there floating around, that's troublesome. But with the way things are unfolding today, with Iran Syria, Libya, Russia, Turkey. It wouldn't surprise me to hear one of those nukes being detonated over there. Or here, when I say detonated, I mean, attributed to some rogue country, but then it would be traced back to here, and whatever. But understand this. It's my understanding that there are three nuclear warheads missing from our arsenals. That's troubling, folks. But we'll talk more about that in the third hour. Joe, if we want to take phone calls, I'm going to toss it to you. You've got control of the switchboard.
All right, we're going to go to area code 702. You're up first, live on the Hagmann and Hagmann Report.
Hey, great. This is Disciple Dan. You hear me okay?
Excellent.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I just want to thank Steve Quayle for introducing me to you guys. I've listened to you off and on for about a month and a half now, and there's a couple guys out there that are promoting guerrilla media, meaning not alternative, but now the new mainstream for truth seekers, and I think you guys are on top of that list, and I want to commend you.
Well, thank you, and certainly we want to thank Steve Quayle and for hooking us up. And all we want is the truth. That's wherever it leads. And we're big boys. We're all adults here. We can handle the truth. Let's just that's what we're seeking is the truth in all matters.
What I've come across a few of you, and maybe I'll mention them later. But my thing is, I've been following a guy by the name of Drake for almost a year now, and he seems to be promoting the truth best as he can. His phone call yesterday kind of woke me up spiritually, because he says he spends time praying to Lucifer but doesn't talk to Jesus. And if he's listening, or the next time I talk to him, I'm trying to figure out how can I say that Jesus is the mediator between man and God. So it would seem like it would be a good idea to talk to Jesus if he's promoting beliefs in the Bible.
Well, I kind of didn't catch on to the whole. I guess I don't understand what you were saying there.
Well,
this person prays to Lucifer, talks to Lucifer, or prays to Lucifer.
Yeah, I've been following Drake. Drake's been. Are you familiar with Drake? First of all,
Drake from the Blog Talk show.
Yes.
Yeah, basically yes.
Okay, he's got a lot of good things that he's promoting about freedom, so I'm all about that. And he quotes the Bible from time to time, but yesterday I was taken back big time because he prays to he talks to Lucifer and feel like he can talk to Jesus. So there's a lot of people out there promoting freedom in the guerrilla media, so to speak, but this just kind of took me back, and it made me realize why I listen to you guys, because you're truth seekers and are believers in Christ, not Lucifer.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say to Lucifer. I certainly would pray and have quiet time and spiritual time with Jesus and God. Certainly not Lucifer. Would never even not even entertain the thought of inviting him into my thoughts.
No, this is a problem, and people need to pray for him because for whatever reason, I don't know why. I've always, since he's been on there, and I've seen some of the things he's done, very New Age-ish, very, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the UN and Lucius Trust and the way that they talk about, the one world religious system, the uniting under goodwill and getting rid of, Jesus and all preconceived notions of religion, just saying we all worship one God. World teacher.
I did have a tangential contact with him, by the way, with some other radio program that didn't end well with my interview.
And can I ask you, caller, in what regards does he use to quote the Bible when he's talking about what? Can you give me an example?
Like he'll even talk about using a concordance, or he might have even thrown in a lexicon, but he'll go through and maybe mention different things in regards to the Bible. Maybe a verse here or there. He might not even quote the Bible per se of the verse, but he'll throw in there that maybe just some things that are loving. So he seems very genuine in all his research, but I look at some of these alternative gurus that I'm now saying they're not guerrilla media because they're not talking about God's truth with Jesus is the only way.
Well, I'll tell you this.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, you're right, that the whole truth. And this is the problem with, even mainstream media, and especially a lot of the alternative media, is that they bring this element of truth, an element of truth that the mainstream media won't even touch, which gets people attracted to the show, obviously, because they're attracted to the truth, and then they throw in this lie that might seem insignificant or, just kind of people dismiss it, but really, it is very important.
Yeah, look, and I don't want to talk about other talk show hosts or anything like that, caller, but here's our position. We are Christians. We believe in the Bible is the literal Word of God. We believe in Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. And I don't know if you're in a submarine or what's going on there, but wow!
I put it on mute.
Okay, my headphones my ears are bleeding now.
Caller, I put you on mute. There's a terrible noise.
Yeah. So anyway, as I said, we believe in the Bible as the literal Word of God. We believe in Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. We believe that we are witnessing amazing prophetic times. We are, in fact, we stand for the safety, security, salvation of Israel as a nation, as God's chosen people. We believe that as Christians, we have a duty and responsibility to stand behind Israel, especially in consideration of Genesis 12, chapter 12, verse 3.
We're called to speak only the true words in the Bible, from the Bible, not add to them. Just stick to what is the truth, 100% truth. And anybody who's not doing that, I would just pray for them and politely try to correct them in their ways. And by doing that, you're letting them know, and you're doing your work for the Lord by informing those people.
Yeah, we can't talk about other. I mean, we don't know, because I don't know. I've never really heard of this Drake. I've heard of him.
I've listened to a few things. Okay,
but anyway. He could be a nice guy. This caller might be mistaken. I don't believe he is, but because he sounds like he knows what he's talking about. But
I brought you back on.
I don't know if you were sawing a piece of metal or something, but sorry about that. It's quite the noise. But go ahead.
Anything else you'd like to say before we let you go?
Yeah, I just want to pray for you as well as this guy Drake and Steve Quayle and all those people. We all are searching for the truth, and I think by opening up the King James Bible and praying to God, the true God, Yahweh, to reveal the truth, I think that is the best way that we will come upon this, because I don't know everything, but I'm a work in progress. Just ask my wife. God bless you, and keep up the good work.
Well, thank you so much, and keep listening, and God bless you. And we're all works in progress, aren't we? I mean, believe me.
Absolutely.
I'm a piece of work, according to my wife. So
it is a long battle, a daily battle, a work in progress, as our spiritual growth, as we continue to try to grow spiritually, more problems, more temptations will be put in our life, and we have to continue to overcome those. If we don't overcome those, then we fall back and learn a hard, tough lesson. And but we got to get back up, keep our heads held high, do not dwell on past mistakes. We talked about with Steve Quayle, one of the shows, the difference between shame and guilt.
Big time.
Yeah, and how important that is. And we need to remember that the Lord knows we're sinners. We were born into sin, and we have to come out of that sin, and that is what our time here on earth is for. Yet so many people fail to even, recognize that problem, which is sad, because that's their eternal soul they are putting at risk. But anyway, thanks for that call, Dave. Dan, we're gonna move on.
Yeah, and by the way, I just want to say this too. For those listening with some emails, I'm catching up. I'm trying to. Okay, please.
All right, area code 732. We're coming to you. You're live on the Hagmann and Hagmann Report.
Yeah, hi, Doug, Joe. This is the guy from Jersey, and I just wanted to thank you and Lucy out there because of your prayers for my son Josh, who went to Uganda. He came back very excited, very happy, a little sick, but he had a great time working with the orphans out there. And I just want to thank you guys for all your prayers to help him get him back home nice and safe and sound. So
now for the listeners, caller, for the listeners that don't know, you called, I think, 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
You're a Jewish man, and your son is a Christian. Is that?
Well, no, he's Jewish, but he found God in Jesus Christ, and he goes to church and reads the Bible religiously, and he just feels that Jesus is his Savior now. So. Well,
praise God. And I didn't mean to mischaracterize you. I apologize. It was not.
No, that's all right.
Well, that's great news. And now he did ministry work, and he came back.
Well, I know he went to Haiti twice to build homes and work with orphans out there. He went to Uganda, like I said, to work with orphans. He wants to go back to Uganda, so he works in the kitchen. So he's a nice spiritual kid, I guess. So.
You must be very proud.
Let him find the way of. Let him find his way. I found, just trying to find my way all along. So, you got to let your kids be their kids, right? And let them do what they have to do to find God, I guess, in their own way.
Well, you've got to be very, very proud, sir. I'll tell you,
I am, and you should be very proud of your son, Joe, because he's an amazing kid, also. Young adult.
Thank you. And our prayers are still with you, your son, and thank your son for all he does. What a great thing. I mean, what a great selfless.
I thank him every day. I thank him every day for being the son he is. I'm very proud of him, and I'm very thankful for all my kids. So they all turned out very well, thank God. So. And it's been a good week. I had my first grandchild was born on Friday. Josh came home on Friday. I had a birthday on Wednesday. It's been a good week.
Wow.
And the storm is long past, so it went from bad to very, very good. That's all I could say.
Well, praise God, and happy birthday, and congratulations on your birth of your first grandchild. It's the beginning of your legacy now, right? Or actually
I guess. Hopefully there'll be more to come. I had 4 kids, so we'll see what happens. But I just want to thank you guys for everything you do. You guys are amazing. And I listen to you, like I said, religiously every day. And just wanted to thank you again. So.
Well, thank you for listening, and thanks for participating. And
we're going to keep the news coming as well. You take care.
Me?
We're going to keep the news coming.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right, man.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Now, for those folks, for those of you joining the program now, saying, "Hey, where's Steve? Come on, bait and switch now, bait and switch." We apologize. Steve, there's a scheduling conflict, as well as he's not feeling too good right now.
I'll actually take.
You didn't take the blame. I'm blaming you.
I could have got a definite answer this afternoon.
Well, it was tentatively scheduled, and it was actually scheduled. But then things happened, and then it
usually he puts an alert up on the website.
And then
it wasn't there.
Oh, wait a minute.
So about 30-40 minutes before the show.
Yeah. So you folks are going to be stuck with us for the remaining 2 hours of the program, and you're not going to be sorry either. So you know what? If you tuned in to hear Steve, double your pleasure, double your fun. That'll be tomorrow night from 9 to 12 Eastern Time, and tonight it's going to be just us. And again, the third hour we're going to be talking about the wider picture with respect to what's going on in the Middle East.
We got states wanting to secede from the U.S. We have the UN and Obama in gun talks again.
Yeah, we do have to mention. I don't know how many people out there are gun enthusiasts, gun owners, sports shooters, or whatever. I took a minute today to call 2 gun shops, just 2. I wanted to see what was going on in terms of ammunition sales. Holy cow! Have you noticed, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot buy certain ammunition, like what do AR-15s take? I don't know if, whatever AR-15s take.
223s or 9mm.
I had it written down somewhere. Anyway, no, not 223. I think back ordered. And I did happen to look at cheaper than dirt back order, but two local gun stores don't have any. There's a run on all calibers. Now they have 22s, 22 ammunition, but as far as the more common sniper rifle ammunition, they're hurting for that.
Yeah, and they're going to continue to be hurting as long as this surge in gun sales. I do not see them stopping at all with the gun sales. They're going to continue to skyrocket until people run out of money and then they run out of guns.
That makes me think that no one's going to come for your guns, or if they do, it's going to be a bloody, bloody, bloody mess. But we'll talk about that on the other side.
Folks, you're listening to the Hagmann and Hagmann Report this Monday, November 12th, 2012. Stay with us. We'll be back after a few short messages.
Hi folks, Doug Hagmann here. You might know me as the co-host from the Hagmann and Hagmann Report, or as a frequent guest on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. If you're like me, you're tired and confused over today's headlines. You just don't know where to turn for accurate, concise information about really what's going on, what's truly going on in today's society. If you don't know where to turn for accurate, well-researched, and properly vetted news, I've got a suggestion. In fact, it's a requirement. Bookmark Canada Free Press. That's CanadaFreePress.com on the Internet. It's just not for Canada. It's for news across the world. Judy McLeod, founding editor, has put together a vast array of talented writers like Kelly O'Connell, Daniel Greenfield, Dr. Eileen Johnson-Powell, a lot of guest columnists, very talented writers. Folks, that's Canada Free Press at CanadaFreePress.com. Now mobile friendly. Follow on Facebook, because without America, there is no free world.
Survival of the fittest. In any and all situations, survival is your number one priority. That requires being tough and thinking smart. And the folks at Freeze Dry Guy are going to help you do just that. They have the long-range patrol ration entrees, what they call the Brick Pack. When you're in survival mode, it is absolutely the best item for your survival pack or bug-out bag. You can go farther, faster, and carry more food with the LRP cold weather ration entrees. Not only do these long-lasting, durable entrees help sustain you or your family through the harshest environment or situation, they are by far the most delicious of their kind. No contest. With a variety of tasty entrees, you can't beat the LRP Brick Packs. Let Freeze Dry Guy help you in your survival situations. Go to freezedryguy.com. freezedryguy.com or call 866-404-3663. That's 866-404-FOOD.
Hello, everyone. Doug Hagmann for Mind Regard. Nootropic Mind Power. That's mindregard.com, mindregard.com. Hey, are you guys sick of hearing me talk about this stuff? I'm going to tell you, this is a dietary supplement that increases blood flow to the brain, cognitive skills, and kind of makes you a mental superpower. Not really, but I'll tell you what, it makes me feel that way anyway. It's a special dietary blend, nutritional supplements that with all this genetically modified stuff, this spraying of who knows what in the air, and yes, it's happening, all of this combined, you do need certain things to kind of boost your metabolism, or you boost your ability to really get that blood flow to the brain. Nootropic Mind Power does it. Mindregard.com. Mindregard.com. If you go to HomelandSecurityUS.com, click on the MindRegard link. It'll take you over to MindRegard, and your first order, you get 10% off if you mention the Hagmann and Hagmann Report. And by the way, not related to MindRegard, but Freeze Dry Guy. I do the same. Find the ad on our website. Click on the Freeze Dry Guy. Check out their November specials. Talk to the Freeze Dry Guy. If you have special needs, special concerns, special whatever, he'll tailor packages specifically for your needs. He'll spend some time with you. Great sponsor to have. And I'll tell you what, these days, these times, as close as we are, definitely. you need to do that.
You better wake up fast and listen to this, America. The Obama campaign has launched attack squads disguised as truth teams dedicated to intimidating and silencing all political dissent carried over the internet that criticizes the Marxist Obama. Truth squads specifically focused on covering up Obama's endless trail of lies, corruption, and subversion, and using the Gestapo power of our own government to police and censor the internet and shut down websites that dare to carry the real truth about Obama's Marxist coup. Remember the names of these Gestapo-style agencies at work right there in your neighborhood. KeepingHisWord.com, KeepingGOPHonest.com, and AttackWatch.com. KGB, SS, and Gestapo-style police-state gangster organizations at work to silence the important voices of patriot dissent, some of which have already been shut down by Obama's orders. Adolf Hitler would have been proud. We're the 21st century Tea Party patriots.
Hold on to your seat. The Hagmann and Hagmann flight is now taking off. Doug and Joe Hagmann have cleared the runway of TSA agents, jihadists, political crackpots, and global elitists. Now get ready for some real news. Here they are, Doug and Joe Hagmann.
And welcome back, folks, to hour number 2 of the Hagmann and Hagmann Report for this Monday, November 12, 2012. I'm Doug Hagmann. With me is my co-host, Joe Hagmann. Together, we are the Hagmann and Hagmann Report, one of the fastest-growing radio shows on the Internet and worldwide. We are simulcast on AM stations throughout the country. The thought of today, the thought of the day, the thought of the program, just remember this, folks. Just remember this one statement. Idiots will get you killed. Idiots will get you killed.
Yes, I will.
Okay. Now, that can be applied in any number of things, especially in war. But just remember that. And that's not, I don't mean to sound demeaning. It's not a mean statement. People doing idiotic things will get you killed. Can get you killed, normally will get you killed. Just remember that. Make that the thought of the day.
Yeah.
The Hagmann and Hagmann Report thought of the day. We should institute that.
Just an example of that, you see, how many times do you see stories where somebody shoots somebody, and you say, a friend picks you up, and, you're driving around, all of a sudden he pulls out a gun and shoots somebody. You know nothing about it.
That happens all the time to me. I mean,
No, but I'm just saying, it's an example of what, just a constant. You could charge with murder for just being in the car, even though you had no knowledge or nothing like that.
Well, sure, but that's that's something that I heard that statement. I think 3 times in 3 days, and I took that as a sign. Maybe I should say that. So anyway,
all right. Moving on here to some other news. During the weekend, Israel and Syria were launching missiles at each other. Now, I hope you have some more information on.
Yeah, let me correct this. Okay. Somebody sent me an email today, and I kind of responded in haste. And I here's what that is. Those are rocket-propelled grenades. I'm not trying to minimize or diminish the importance of it, but essentially this is nothing. This is kind of this is just stuff. Stuff that happens. It's really not in the scheme of things. Yeah, it's kind of provocative, but in terms of really doing anything, no. There was a rocket-propelled grenade fired by the anti-Assad rebels into Syria, or into the Ansar al-Sharia crowd, or Muslim Brotherhood crowd, fired into Israel, and then Israel fired back in kind. It was just a dust-up. It wasn't anything of significance. But this does speak to the larger issue. Again, in the third hour, we're going to be talking more about this, because, folks, you really need to understand the big picture of this. One of the biggest things that's not being talked about right now, that is going to come out soon, but needs to be talked about. Iran. Say, folks, say it with me right now. Iran.
And listen, on November 9th, Obama issued a continuation of the national emergency with respect to Iran. And he issued a statement with that.
Okay.
Continuation of the national emergency with respect to Iran on November 14, 1979. Executive Order 12170. The President declared a national emergency with respect to Iran and pursuant to the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. Took steps to deal with the usual and extraordinary threat to the national security, foreign policy, and economy of the United States constituted by the situation in Iran. Because our relationship with Iran has not yet returned to normal, in the process of implementing the agreements with Iran dated from January 1981 is still underway. The National Emergency Declaration on November 14, 1979 must continue in effect beyond November 14, 2012. Therefore, consistent with Section 202 of the National Emergencies Act, am continuing for 1 year the national emergency with respect to Iran.
Okay, now look, what's taking place right now with things, and then we'll move on to a different topic. Like as I said, I want to wait to the third hour when we have a full time to do this. Before we do this, let me just say for folks tuning in, expecting to hear Steve Quayle, because I know some people are saying, "Well, hey, come on,
tuning in right now."
Yeah, where's Steve?" Well, we pulled the old bait and switch on you. We just kind of dragged you in here, and then No, what happened was this: Steve's not feeling well tonight. Plus, there was a scheduling issue. We had to reschedule that for tomorrow night at 9:00. We apologize for any inconvenience this has caused, but Steve will be with us tomorrow night from 9 to 12 midnight Eastern time, and I cannot apologize enough for that, but some things are just out of our control, so we're going to entertain you as if Steve was here. Say a prayer for Steve. He's beaten down. As a watchman, my goodness, as a watchman, and all the watchmen, Christian watchmen, Rick Wiles, Augusto Perez, others like Russ Dizdar, please keep them in your prayers. We need them. We need them. I need them. You need them. We need them together. Wow. But anyway, so we apologize. So that that said, but again, think about Iran as being a big player that you're not hearing about. I'm gonna say Jarrett as well. And there are some other issues. Again, we'll talk about after in the third hour with respect to this. But domestically, Joe, we've got some issues from the economy to civil unrest. And remember, I'll tell you, let's bring this up right now before we get to the phones as well. Remember, before the election, my source was telling us about possible riots, even or civil unrest, even if Obama wins.
Yes.
And we could not angle that into anything.
Yeah,
right?
We couldn't figure out how that would happen.
Okay, I'm getting reports. I got some reports during the weekend and late last night, early this morning, from one particular source that's close to the DHS, within the DHS, saying that they watch for false flag operations. Now, why didn't I lead off with this? Because of how important this is. Well, because it's very unspecified. I don't have specific information, nor did my source. But what is taking place right now is the seeds are being planted for some sort of false flag operation to be blamed on not white supremacists. This is not the case, but patriots, constitutionalists, people who want to secede from the Union. And what are we seeing now on the Internet? All these petitions now, petitioning the White House. Watch this, because certainly some of these could be being drummed up by not people by they're not who they say they are. I'm not saying that's the case, but watch everything that you see take place. Question everything. Question it, because the situation is the DHS apparatus is just waiting to clamp down on people who are supporting the Constitution, who are against abortion, who are anti-government as it stands right now. And along those same lines are people who are invoking race or talking about race in any derogative fashion. Hey, that could be, if it's Chris Matthews' definition, that would be everybody that's not in support of Obama. Watch for a potential false flag from this. I want to be very, very clear on this. Between now and the inauguration, especially, watch for a false flag operation. So if you hear something take place that's attributed to conservative Christian, the Bible clingers, they're bitter clingers, the gun owners, watch out. Question. Don't take anyone's word for it, because this will spark a clampdown, and this is what they're going for, a clampdown on speech on the internet, on the First Amendment. And of course, the First and Second Amendment they're so connected, which will then lead to a suspension or at least an assault on your Fourth Amendment, your search and seizure, your rights against the warrantless search and seizure. This is how it's going to play out. Then you've got so that's the big thing. And then, of course, watch what's going on around us with respect to Agenda 21, because that's going to ramp up now under the second term of this administration. And but that's the gist of it. So no, there you have it.
It's gonna be increasing. We see the tax hikes that are coming, the Obamacare, and the new penalties, the new laws where. Let me find this one article I sent you. We talked about it this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
The U.S. currency control comes into effect January 1st, 2013.
Yeah,
you're going to want to listen to this, guys, because
yes.
It might or might not affect you, depending on what you do and how you do it. But this is striking at the heart of business, international business, from what I understand. U.S. currency control implementation has been delayed until January 1st, 2017. Now the article says. It said 2013 the other. All right, here we go. The long champion of the beneficiary of free trade and the free flow of capital, the United States has enacted legislation that becomes effective in part on January 1st, 2014, revised from 2013, a date mentioned in this original article just from a few days ago. That a growing number of commentators and professionals believe could be the start of capital controls in America and have serious unintended consequences. He says, let me explain in 1,252 words. Basically, what they are going to do here, it's the provisions found in the Jobs Bill, H.R. 2847, known as the HIRE Act, which becomes law in March 2010, encompasses a Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act of 2009, also referred to as the offset provisions of the bill. On their face, these provisions appear intended to force U.S. tax compliance with regard to foreign accounts and transactions between U.S. and individuals in countries that are considering to be tax havens. Bottom line, under this bill, under Section 1474 of the bill, the law makes banks as third parties responsible for the enforcement of government tax policy. The banks are liable for the customer's tax obligation on transferred funds if they don't withhold the 30% required to cover any possible tax liability. And this is transactions that affect, or any kind of transactions, cash, credit card, money order, whatever. But there's going to be a 30% tax. So they give an example here. To wire transfer $100,000 to Panama, for example, to purchase a piece of real estate, one would have to agree to send $142,000 so that the net $100,000 would reach its destination. Who would be inclined or willing to pay 30% more in a global transaction fee in order to satisfy these requirements? Almost nobody. Implement international payments beginning January 1st, 2017 will be subject to these new withholding requirements. force foreign governments, especially those in tax havens, to enter into agreements with the U.S. by January 1st, 2014, instead of this year, or this coming year. Also, put extreme pressure on individual foreign banks to enter into the private sector agreements with the IRS to disclose all United States account holders who risk having all U.S. transactions moving to their individual bank being subject to 30% tax withholding. So what they're doing is, through this 30% global tax, anybody who has any money overseas or does any transactions in other countries, you're going to have to pay 30% more to do those transactions. And if you don't, the countries, even if they might be sovereign from the United States and their United States data collection system, they say our government is going to force them to enter into agreements to make sure that there's complete IRS disclosure of all U.S. Citizens holding accounts, doing business overseas, so they are making sure that they can get that 30% tax withholding. This is ridiculous, and this was set to go into effect on January 1st, 2013, when I sent this to you on Saturday. It has since changed, and I'm not sure why.
Well, I think the I don't think the law or the statute changed. I believe it was probably a typo from the original. Look,
no, I mean it was set to. It says in the article it was supposed to be implemented in January 1st, 2013.
Well, okay. Here's what we do know with respect to the economy, with respect to the once December 31st, starting January 1st, we're going to see an entirely different new set of rules come into play with respect to our income because of the Affordable Care, partially because of the Affordable Care Act, some because of a lot's going to depend too on what happens with the fiscal cliff. There's a lot of things taking place right now. And there's a lot of uncertainty. We already look at all the companies that are downsizing in anticipation of the additional costs that will be incurred, not only from the Affordable Care Act, but because of the new taxes and we don't have time to go through all of the rule changes, the law changes. There's a whole lot of stuff taking place.
Yes,
so just be aware that any one of these could just be the spark that is needed to bring the economy down. Look at and I would urge everyone to really understand what's going on in Europe with respect to the economy there, the Spain, Greece, what Draghi has done in Italy, and don't forget all of these. You're talking about Goldman Sachs alumni people. We still have John Corzine walking around a free man. We're going to make We're going to make Corzine into a noun and a verb. Corzine meaning, let's say, a bank heist in excess of $1.6 billion. So to be Corzined means that you've been robbed of a minimum of $1 billion. But anyway,
approximately 2 hours ago, I want to jump points here. This came out from the Washington Post. John Kerry might be the next defense secretary.
Well, watch these rumors. They could very well be Kerry, but just watch the rumors because the defense secretary or CIA.
President Obama is considering asking John Kerry,
right,
Senator out of Massachusetts, to serve as his next defense secretary, part of an extensive rearrangement of his national security team that will include a permanent replacement of former CIA Director David Petraeus. Although Kerry is thought to covet the job of Secretary of State, senior mission officials familiar with the transition planning said that the nomination will almost certainly go to Susan E. Rice, the U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations.
Well, folks, Susan Rice, she appeared 4 days after the September 11th attacks on 5 different television programs and just asserted the nonsensical and obscene and just terribly poor excuse that this obscure video was what was behind these attacks, the attack in Benghazi, for crying out loud. If she, for her to be considered for anything other than Burger King janitor at best, in my opinion, is wrong. Because if she wasn't culpable in the facilitation of a lie, then certainly she lacks the intellectual ability to handle anything whatsoever. That's my personal opinion about Susan Rice.
Yeah.
Folks, also watch Lisa Perez Jackson as the head of the EPA. Watch her carefully. What she does in the next few months is going to be extremely critical.
Also,
with respect go on.
John Brennan is being considered as the leading contender for the CIA job, if he wants it. Now, John Brennan is now Obama's counterterrorism advisor. This guy's a snake and a weasel. Nothing good. And Napolitano's looking at the Attorney General slot also. I wonder who they're going to make Treasury Secretary now that Geithner is stepping down. That should be interesting here. I don't know if they listed in this article here, but there is going to be a lot of changes in this administration the second time around. Just like I said, recycling old names. This is how this works in Washington. We have constantly people who are advisors and policy makers that span multiple administrations, regardless of party or whatever. But let's go to the phone lines. We have people on hold. And if you want to join in the conversation, call us at 661-244-9839. We are open for talking about anything in the world of current events, politics,
Bible prophecy,
whatever you want to talk about on those subjects that we have not talked about.
We don't do a gardening show or a cooking show. So aside from that,
no, we don't. Not yet, at least. We might have to start doing the rice and beans from a fireplace outside. But we're going to go to area code 480-480. You are live on the Hagmann and Hagmann Report.
Hello.
You're up.
Oh, hi. Is this Doug and Joe?
This is Doug and Joe. Well, I'm Doug. Joe.
Okay, this is Lisa talking. I watch you on the internet every night, because I enjoy your show, both of you, very much. And I look on here and I see the dog sitting next to Joe. Now, is there a reason for that, or is that just my computer? Because I'm looking at it and I says, well, Doug's changed, because that's a dog sitting there. And then I'll see a computer and a woman, and I go, what happened to Doug?
I'm actually.
I just wanted, you don't have to explain why, but no, I'm just hoping that it's coming from your end and not mine, okay?
I've got this huge zit on my forehead. No, actually.
What's going on is I'm the only one doing video right now.
For right now.
Our producer who does the video, Troy from Christians United Broadcasting Network, has been playing around with different graphics and images, and you missed it. I don't know if you saw the other night. There was an elephant, an eagle.
Oh, I didn't see that.
All kinds of stuff. Yeah,
okay.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's just I've become reclusive in my old age. No, seriously, it's something that I. But thanks for noticing my absence. You're the only one that has, so.
You're kidding. Oh, no. I just love the both of you together. You have a wonderful relationship. I have to crack up every time I see you, in the past there, because it's hilarious at times, So when I didn't see you there, Doug, I'm thinking something's wrong here, because, you can really see the relationship with both you and your son, and it's wonderful. And I really enjoy your show. I want you to know that. And you're in my prayers, both of you.
Oh,
and in fact, with our whole family as well.
Thank you
so
I
just
much.
wanted to really share that with you. Yeah,
well,
don't go anywhere. That's what my daughter says.
Well, tell your daughter we're not. We have no plans on doing so. And I'll probably be back on video, if not tomorrow, then on Wednesday at the latest. So.
Oh, good. That'll be great. Well, thank you so much. I was getting pretty upset there with my family, and something's wrong here. I said, Doug's not there. Is he at home? What's going on? So you're okay. You're there, and I love your show, and I love the both of you. And God bless you, and keep up the good work. Keep spreading the word. And like I said, you're in my prayers.
Thank you so very much. God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Joe, we've got the greatest audience in the entire world. Before you take another call, I just want to pass this bit of news along. I just, in case, you mentioned, Joe, earlier about gun sales and such. After Obama's reelection, first of all, in October, the number of background checks on people applying to buy guns, which is an indicator of future sales because of the delay, increased by 18.4%. Wow. The 18.4%. Now, there was a similar jump when Obama was first elected in 2008. A total of 12.7 million background checks were carried out that year, which up from 11.2 the year before. But that number's been rising ever since then. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't think, and I'm going to tell you something, if you don't think that this is an indicator that something is about ready to take place, man, I'll tell you, you've got to know that. And there are gun shops that are saying normally 6 to 8 guns a day on average are being sold. Now it's up to 25. The one gun store stocked up on AK-47s. Those are going out the door. They can't even keep them in stock. This one other gun store owner says he normally orders 7,000 rounds a week from distributors. He can only now get 3,000 because the demand is across the board is so high. Once again, and I personally know 2 different people in the last month that have purchased AR-15s. So there you have that.
Before we go back to the phones, I just want to hit this article. I'll post it in the chat and let you guys read through the actual dialogue of this CNN report or CNN article. CNN article bashes the growing number of people that question mass media. They said in this article, it's called, listen to this. This article, let's see, in the past year or so, we've seen several mass media outlets reporting on the popularity of conspiracy theories and alternative news. However, in every case, the resulting article is not an objective report on a growing phenomenon, but an all-out hit piece, bashing those who dare questioning the official story. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, Still Paranoid is the name of this article. And here is a particular passage of this article
Here we go.
that is intriguing as it is ridiculous to those who research extremely powerful organizations such as the Trilateral Commission. It says, yesterday's paranoid types feared elite groups such as the Illuminati and the Masons. Today's boogeymen include the members of the Rockefeller-founded Trilateral Commission and the politicians and financiers who attend the Monad confab at Bohemian Grove and are suspected of mapping out the New World Order.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to speak to the people out there like me who really thought that people talking about the New World Order, one world government, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, all this, they were crazy. I really thought that. But you know something, you got to investigate, and I know that I'm preaching to the choir for the most part, but for those people who are listening to this and just not quite there yet.
Hey, I'll help them out in there.
Just not quite there yet. It's really when you start investigating, and I'm not talking about just internet. Go to the library. Look at if you have a bookstore that sell rare and used books. Try to find a book called None Dare Call It Conspiracy. Now, I know you can get this on Amazon. I believe it might be out of print. I'm not sure of the status of that. Read that book. If you can get your hands on that from a used bookseller or a rare bookstore, get your hands on that.
No, yeah, go look on the internet at the history of the New World Order. That's
true as well.
Here are just some quotes from anywhere from presidents to congressmen to anonymous quotes.
I mean, journalists, everybody.
Yeah. We have here just this from. I guess we'll do this one from Congressman Louis T. McFadden, delivered to a speech of the House of Representatives on June 10th, 1932. Mr. Chairman, we have in this country one of the most corrupt institutions the world has ever known. I refer to it as the Federal Reserve Board and the United States Federal Reserve Banks. The Federal Reserve Board, a government board, has cheated the government of the United States and the people of the U.S. out of enough money to pay the national debt. Mr. Chairman, when the Fed Reserve Act was passed, the people of the U.S. did not perceive that a world system was being set up here, and this country was to supply financial power to an international superstate, a superstate controlled by international bankers and international industrialists acting together to enslave the world for their own pleasure. Also,
this is part of the well,
FDR said, the real truth of the matter is, as you and I know, that a financial element in the large centers has owned the government ever since the days of Andrew Jackson. It goes on. William Jenner, he says, today a path to total dictatorship in the U.S. can be laid by strictly legal means. We have a well-organized political action group in this country determined to destroy our Constitution and establish a one-party state. It operates secretly, silently, continuously to transform our government. This ruthless, power-seeking elite is a disease of our century. This group is answerable neither to the President, the Congress, nor the courts. It's practically irremovable. And it goes on. I have their own quotes we could get into.
Right. Now, but how this all applies to today, the New World Order
applies today.
Well, look, they want the New World Order is enforcing a one world governance, and in order to do that, they have to destroy our national sovereignty. So, how do you attack the United States? You attack it from within.
Well, let's go back to this quote that yesterday the paranoid types were fearing the Illuminati Masons. Now they're fearing this Trilateral Commission and CFR and Bohemian Grove members that are suspected of mapping out the New World Order.
What do I have here? Stop right there.
CFR.
Wait, stop right there for a second. I'm going to tell you something. Anybody dancing naked or half naked or in some sort of costume in front of an owl at Bohemian Grove, I want their names, and doggone it, I certainly don't want them anywhere near the Capitol, the White House, the Department of State, Defense, FBI, Indian. Get them the heck out of. You know, I want to know who these psychopaths are. Yeah. I really want to know. Give me a list of names.
Well, I'll tell you this: for those saying, taking and believing this hit piece that it's a huge conspiracy theory and people are paranoid, wingnuts, lunatics, dupes, derangement, irrational, extremism, idiots, fearful. Or insecure, crazy.
I resemble all of them.
For saying that, the Rockefeller-founded Trilateral Commission and CFR politicians and financiers are mapping out the New World Order.
I don't know why they did.
This is from March 12th and 13th, the CFR inaugural council's conference. These are the four goals. The overall state of global governance and multilateral cooperation. Number 2, the status of the nuclear non-proliferation regime, with focus on Iran. 3, the dollar's future as the world's reserve currency. 4, the criteria for humanitarian intervention in the wake of regime change in Libya and Syria. So, You tell me.
I just did.
No, I know.
I'll tell you something here, and how this applies today. Where we are today, right now. The gun buying, the ammunition sales, all of this hushed talking in hushed tones. You see it taking place right now. This is the lull before the storm. Look, social revolutions, wars, all of them are always preceded by periods of giving up on reforms, despairing withdrawal from public life by the best and the brightest of people worldwide or within one's social arena. And even a sense of peacefulness and calm, which seems to have become the normal condition, despite any deep conflicts and growing crises beneath the surface of public life. We're seeing that today. That's where we are right now. Often earlier periods of intense conflicts, that had to be overcome and resolved. It have to become overcome and resolved. So it kind of looks like everything is normal, like there's this normalcy out there. And this lulls the majority of people, the unthinking masses, into assuming their worst fears can't happen. That's a normalcy bias. But it leads you listening to this program, it leads you into lowering your guards against the glowing, growing conflicts. So, these small conflicts can easily cascade, kind of like a snowball, and snowball into larger ones. Now, if people expected that they could become, these small little conflicts could become vast wars or revolutions or implosions, they, meaning you and me and everyone, we'd be taking more precautions to prevent them. And think about this when we go into the third hour. But anyway, when lulled in expecting the worst, when you're lulled into thinking, hey, this can't happen, the worst than they could ever imagine, the worst that you can ever imagine, the worst I can ever imagine, often happens, bam, right now, suddenly, without warning. I mean, without, this obvious warning. Think about the French Revolution. That happened after many, many decades of these attempted reforms and conflicts, and people thought, it's never going to end, and then everything kind of got quiet, and then bang, it exploded all of a sudden. Same thing with World War I. Decades of peace in Europe. And there were, some conflicts here and there around the world, and an arms race back then. But most people thought that, like, a major war was impossible. Then the murder in the Balkans, remember that? The Archduke of Ferdinand? That set in motion an explosive cascade of events that led to World War I. And if I had to put my finger on what's going on today in Iran, in Syria, in Russia, in Libya, I would point to that. The Russian Revolution, okay, the same thing. The beginning of World War II, the German-French front was really quiet. For how long? It was really quiet. But history repeats itself, and we're seeing the template for this social storm and world war right now. Right now, we are in a lull before a vast revolutionary storm inside the United States. We are sinking faster and faster and faster into this great global economic, financial, social, racial crisis, which the United States produced with insane bank speculations, these big banks, the corruptions, the John Corzines of the world, the people out there. John Corzine should not. Sorry, I got a real thing for John Corzine tonight. And as always,
example of how corrupt this country is.
Corzine should not be walking as a free man. He stole $1.6 billion from people, ruined people's lives, and he's out there, hobnobbing it with Barack Hussein Obama. And you know what, folks? If I've gotten emails about this weekend that I'm a racist. I don't know where this came from, but let me ask a question. If I would have told you Barack Hussein Obama was going to be our president in 2008 and 2001, how would you have reacted?
What does that have to do with racism?
Well, just the name, I suppose. I don't know. I guess I'm living up to that.
So if you call somebody by their name,
yeah, of course. Emphasize. I actually, when I was on a radio program out of Philadelphia, I did say Barack Hussein Obama, and the host said, "Wait a minute." He said, "Are you? Why are you using his entire name?" I said, "Because that's his name, as he supposedly gives it, or as he's supposedly known by." And he said, "Well, don't you think it's a little racist to call him Barack Hussein Obama?"
What about Barry Hussein Sotero?
How about Obama Benghazi? Mm-hmm. How about that? Anyway, we've also have word too, and I want to bring this up for people in the Western New York area. Drones in Niagara County, New York, Niagara Falls area, perhaps coming to Niagara Falls Air Force Base as being a hub for drones. I just want to bring that up. This, by the way, is going to be more of a norm than an exception all across the country as drones, surveillance drones are let loose all across the country. Folks, you've just got to understand that we are living in the ultimate surveillance state right now. It's only going to get worse. So go ahead.
All right. Well, let's go to the phone lines. We got a couple minutes, 15
Let's
so
do
before
it.
the break. So you've been holding longest. Area code. Make sure I didn't go here yet.
See, I'm going to have to take you out.
I got a new sheet. I got a new list.
I'm going to have to, if you can't be quicker.
Area code 856. We're coming to you. 856. You're live.
Hello, Doug, Joe, Sheila.
Hey,
That's
Sheila.
what I thought, Sheila.
All right. What's up, Sheila?
You have thrown so much at me. Good grief.
Have you been?
This ain't what I think about, but you brought up Bohemian Grove.
Yes.
Go on YouTube and bring up Alex Jones and Bohemian Grove. You will see the video where he actually was able to get in there.
Right. I've
and
seen.
He was Did you see that?
Oh yes.
Yep. Yeah, we saw that a couple of years ago when it came out,
okay.
And yeah, it's spooky. It's what they do.
And that tree trunk was in the shape of an owl.
Yes,
Moloch.
That's what they worship.
Yeah.
We need to get the names of these. I mean, look, if it's private business, I don't care. To be honest with you, I don't care.
But policy being set.
Yes, if you've got policy, political leaders, people that I'm supposed to follow because they're making laws here in the United States or they're in some sort of leadership in the United States, I want to know who these people are.
Well, he sent one of his reporters to Washington after he did that, and he approached one of them coming out of the Capitol building. I think it was Charles Grassley, but I'm not going to swear to that. And he walked up to him and asked him about it. And he told him that we was able to videotape, what was going on in there. This man got really angry, and he just pretty much walked away from him.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
This is coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're seeing the freaks for what they are. But anyway, go back to the beginning of your show when you was talking about Obama and his whatever he's doing with racism. I can't remember now what you said because there's been so much news. But it had something to do with racism.
Right. What Obama is doing is he's through various policies, through various company or agencies, and especially the financial industry. What he's doing is he's implementing the race-based decision making to throw, if you will, minorities. If a minority, if you, let's say Sheila, let's say you were a half black, half Latino, and half purple. I know, 3 halves. But let's say that's who you were, and you were denied a home loan. He's ordering the banks that denied you the home loan to reassess it, to lower the standards, so you can get a home loan. But that's system wide. That's what he's doing via executive policy. How you like them apples?
Well, I think that's another form of him just using that to collapse the economy. But I was thinking when you were talking about that, I told you it's been a while back that Fox News had played a clip of him before he ran for president the first time around. He was in a room with a bunch of other people. Somebody was able to get in there, and they had hidden audio and audio taped what he was saying. And he said, the white man has suppressed the blacks long enough. If I become president, the white man will find out what it's like to be oppressed because I will see to it. So you can be watching for that. But in this last 4 years, we thought what he's done is bad, but with this next 4 years, he's going to let loose with all the plans he's got. He ain't going to hold back on nothing.
Oh, you got that right. Yeah, you buckle up and be prepared because the mask is off.
I think I'm going to get me some more Bibles and more studied series that I listen to and whatnot because I'm afraid he's going to come after the church, ain't no doubt about it. The Christians.
Sheila, Yeah, you make a good point there, and I would urge everyone to do this. If you've got like a big box store in your area, or even if you can contact or make a deal with a bookstore where you can get King James Bibles. Look, we've been doing this. We've been actually stocking up. The Hagmann and Hagmann Report has been stocking up on King James Bibles for the purpose of one caller. And do we remember who that was? We're going to be giving out Bibles.
I don't remember.
Okay, in the same fashion as that one caller did, King James Bible. So, but that's something that Sheila would help everyone.
Well, that's going to be just as important as eating. I like to have a Bible study. I mean, you know, I do Bible studies with my Bible. Different series, they're all mostly Charles Stanley, but I'm going to load up on more of them. I got a Christian book club that I'm in. I can get anything I want, and I'm going to load up because that's going to be just as important as eating.
Well, it's food for your soul, you know, and that's how we have to look at it. Yeah, but
exactly.
But the news is fast and furious, and pun intended, Sheila. It's just coming at you with both barrels. We've got to be aware of what's taking place, and we've got to know that we live in perilous times. So,
exactly.
Go ahead.
This thing here with the states wanting to break apart from the government.
Yeah.
What I find odd about that is they have to put their petitions on Obama's website. They pretty much got to have his permission to do this.
No, sure. Yeah, look, and ladies and gentlemen, don't make more out of this than what it is. The .gov website, the White House website, allows you to create petitions for various issues. And private citizens are doing this, and then they're getting through their social networking and having other people sign on the petitions. It's a lot of show, but when it comes right down to it, what does it mean? Well, it's a barometer of the spirit of the people in this country right now. But in terms of actually, having anything meaningful, it's kind of like a citizen's grand jury. Yeah, it's there, but what does it mean? So
the bad part about it is he's going to have their names. The IRS be banging on the door.
Well, and that's
no way. I won't even go on his website. No way.
But see, Sheila, and here's what I try to get across with the opt-out program. Look, your name's already recorded. First of all, your name's recorded in the Book of Life, and the ultimate judge and the ultimate balance is going to be, how you spent, what you did on your earthly existence. But in terms of having your name by the government, they already got your name. I'm going to tell you right now, they got your name 10 different ways. So I don't see how that would make much of a difference. But that's just me.
Well, that was just thought. Why make it easier for them?
Well, yeah, I understand that. I do understand that. But
Sheila, is there anything else you'd like to say before we let you go?
No, that's pretty much it. And I'm glad to hear we got Bible.
Right on.
Did you say you're going to give Bibles out to people?
Oh yes, we're actually we're doing that. Actually, we've got. In fact, I just picked up my first set of Bibles this weekend. But we're going to be taking Bibles out.
Yeah, and if anybody has extra Bibles, contact us or give them out to in your area.
Yeah, I would say that the best way to do it is to use your own initiative and do that.
Yeah, we can. If you need one, let us know.
Yes,
if other people.
Anyone needs a Bible, King James Version Bible, send me an email. We'll get you one out right away.
That is so great. God bless you guys for doing that.
All right. Well,
you will be greatly supported for it. All
right.
right.
Thank you, Sheila.
Guys have a good.
All right. Thanks for your call.
Thanks, Sheila.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. We'll get to one more call here before the breaks. Area code 724. You're live on the Hagmann and Hagmann. Hello.
Holy cow, I think that's me.
That's you.
That is you.
Is that me?
That's you.
Oh, man. Okay. It's a thrill, obviously. I just have a couple questions. I've been, like, searching and searching and searching, and I came upon this one pastor. I don't know if you guys, like, really commentary on individuals or not, and if you don't, then just tell me that, and maybe you can do something privately. But I'm really struggling with this one particular group. Is it kosher or not to discuss that with you?
Well, we don't like. Here's our policy: we don't like to talk about people behind their back without giving them a chance to defend themselves. But I don't know this. We don't know the issue. So, what's the issue here?
Okay. Well, I'm just going to tell you, it's the Shepherd's Chapel. It's Pastor Murray. Have you heard of him?
No. I don't know if you. No.
Okay.
Okay. What's up with that?
Well, there's something about the first Earth age and the second Earth age, and this barrier in heaven where when people die, they go to heaven. Okay, listen to me. This is like really crazy, but when people die, they go to heaven. Everybody. But there's like two sections. There's one section where all the good people go, and there's one section where all the nasty people go, like even Hitler. They all go to paradise, I guess is what he's saying. Pastor Arnold Murray is his name. So, and then he said, like, Satan is up there, and I don't know. It's a little confusing, but it's a little scary because he talks about that, the gap. And I always thought that the gap that can't be crossed over.
I just thought of the mall. I'm sorry. I just thought I was trying to make funny. I suppose I just thought of the gap at the mall, but that's okay.
No, but you know I'm talking about the gap that can't be crossed over.
No, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. Look. To be honest with you, ma'am, we're not familiar with the Shepherd's Chapel or Pastor Arnold Murray, so
anybody who's not, anybody who's teaching that it's everybody goes to heaven or most people go to heaven is contradicting the Bible and the words Jesus spoke. So
yeah, if it's not conforming to the literal word of the Bible, then frankly, we can't.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm really surprised that you don't know what I'm talking about when I say the gap that cannot be crossed over.
No, I don't know.
I know that.
Am I missing something?
No, I think
there's a gap from hell that you cannot get from hell into heaven. Jesus is the only one.
That's a widely known scripture about the gap between, and it's there's so many interpretations of that part of scripture about the gap. I mean, the Arnold Murray talks about it as a gap in heaven where the bad and the good, they're both up there, but they can't cross it. I always thought that the gap was that once you go on and you pass over, you are in paradise, and you will no longer know any pain or fear or anything. So you've crossed over that, and nobody, you won't know fear or pain anymore.
Well, the gap
you're in paradise.
In Scripture, there's a gap referred to from hell into Abraham's bosom.
Well,
and that is the scripture. If you can give me a scripture.
Yeah, I was just going to ask for the scripture that you might be referring to, caller.
Pardon me?
Can you cite the scripture? Can you tell us?
No, not specifically. No, I am not a scholar. I'm looking to people like you to help me with this gap thing. I always thought that it meant that. I'm sorry. I always thought that it meant that there's no there's no other side that I would know about from here, because once I'm there, it's not available to me. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah, I understand that.
I'll tell you, just read your Bible, stick to that.
Sometimes I maybe think too much.
Well, I'll tell you, there's nothing wrong with thinking too much.
Maybe it boils down to sometimes I think too much.
Well, you know what? We're going to ask Steve Quayle tomorrow. Steve knows a whole lot more than we do.
And this is an example, and I'm not saying that you're doing this, but we can't rely on men to give us what is in the scriptures. We need to find out for ourselves.
Here's what I remember saying: the gap between the living and the dead. That's why that's always been my defense for ghosts. There is no gap between the living and the dead. I figure once you're gone, you're gone. Why would you want to come back? Why would you want to come back? Because you're supposedly in paradise. So there should be no ghost floating around here.
No, there's only angels and demons. There is no ghosts.
Yeah.
And
wow.
That's where the problem comes in when you start talking about the big D, because nobody gets that.
Right. And that's what
they're afraid of it.
Yeah.
They're so afraid of it.
No, yeah. When you say big D, you mean demons? Is that what you mean?
Uh-huh.
Devil?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
devil, right. Caller, we'll ask Steve Quayle about this tomorrow.
And I mean, I can expand on it after the break, but we're going to go to break now. I thank you so much for your call.
God bless you.
And stay in touch.
You taught us something, actually.
I'm just looking for answers, dudes. And thank God I found you guys, because I think I can find them there. And Steve, oh my God.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
We'll definitely ask Steve tomorrow, and you have a great night.
Okay,
right.
bye-bye. Bye-bye.
You know, it's Joe, you learn something new every day.
Yeah. Callers on hold. We have international callers and more. Stay there. We're going to get to you right on the other side. You're listening to the Hagmann and Hagmann Report this Monday, November 11th, 2012. We'll be right back.
November 12th, 2012. Thank
you. If you are stumped, you don't know what kind of gift to give to a friend or a loved one, I'm telling you, you must go to 4physics.com. That's the numeral 4, PHYSICS.com. This is your one-stop shopping palace. That's the only way I can put it. I could spend easily an hour on this website. Innovative, fun, educational. There are games, books, weather instruments, unique time-telling devices, jewelry, optical devices, laboratory equipment. Let me give you an example. We all know we can tell time. With a sundial, you've seen those advertised. Did you know that you could tell time by the stars? At 4physics.com, you can buy a horologium nocturnum. This was a navigational device used in the 15th century by navigators at night to tell time by the stars. It's beautifully crafted in the shape of a pendant made of bronze and pewter or gold and silver. Absolutely a stunning gift. I would be proud to give it to anyone. You must go to 4physics.com. Even if you're not stumped, that's 4physics. That's the numeral 4, PHYSICS.com. It's your one-stop shopping palace. Any problems that you have, I don't know what to get Grandpa, I don't know what to get my loved one, that's unique, you will find it at 4physics.com. Please take my word for it. Go to the website, but give yourself a lot of time because you're not going to want to leave. 4physics.com.
If I were the devil, If I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions, just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing. Paul Harvey. Good day.
Doug Hagmann. One guy that doesn't need a bullhorn to get your attention. You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hagmann and Hagmann Report for this, the 12th day of November 2012, the final hour of the Hagmann and Hagmann Report. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Please pass the information about this program along to your friends, your family, your coworkers, your psychiatrist. You know, we depend on word-of-mouth advertising for the program, and by that way, we've been able to be heard and 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 heard.
Coming up with on the next 4 years.
Welcome to CUBN Christians United Broadcasting Network. Welcome to CUBN.
My headphones.
And we're back up.
All right.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your host PIN. When finished, press the pound key.
It apparently got discombobulated here. It's not you.
I'm sorry, but I did not hear you press at least 4 digits of your PIN number.
I didn't do anything.
Troy, you there?
I'm sorry, but I did not hear you.
There we go.
Our menu has recently changed. Please listen carefully to the new prompts before making...
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, can you hear us now? Can you hear us now? Just if anyone, no sound. Let us know when we come back up here. There we go. It's back. All right. Thank you very much,
guys.
folks. Yeah, we apologize somehow. It's a glitch. That was now, folks. That was an internet glitch. That was not on our side, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's all right.
Now, I know we have an international call.
They're gone.
Oh, okay, they're gone.
Wait, no, they're back.
Okay, let me just do this again. Welcome back to the third hour of the Hagmann Report on this, the 12th day of November 2012. Back in 1979, around this time, Nightline came into being, and of course we were talking about Day 2, Day 3, Day 4, the hostage crisis. Remember those days? If you're as old as I am, you do, very vividly. And look how far we've gone since then. Before we get into the what I want to talk about the wider picture, why Benghazi is so important, why what we're seeing in the Middle East is so important, where it's going to take us, how it conforms to biblical prophecy, we are going to go to the phone lines to take an international caller. Joe, you're up with that.
All right. I don't know where you're from, caller, but we're going to come to you. Maybe country code 49, not sure.
Go ahead, caller. You're up with Doug and Joe Hagmann.
Hello?
Yes.
I'm not quite sure if it's me.
That's you. That is
I'm
absolutely
calling to Doug and Joe?
You certainly are.
Good
Well,
morning. First of all, I'm calling you from Germany. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. And first of all, I want to thank you for bringing me on your show. I enjoyed it very much in the last few months. I listened a lot to you guys and to Steve Quayle and others here, Henry Groover and so on. And I personally, I'm a Christian, and I wanted to tell you a few things about the things that are going on in Europe without taking too much of your time. But I felt very compelled to make you aware of something that I haven't heard on your show until now. And it's something that went viral in Germany, England, France, everywhere in Europe. And that's a web page. It's about the second coming of Jesus. And as you know, Jesus is always talking to us in the past. And he has his own people he looks for. And often there are people that we wouldn't expect to receive any messages from Jesus or Mother Mary and so on, because they are quite the opposite of what God or Jesus actually lived as a sample. So what I want you to look at, and for you personally to verify and simply to think about it, and especially to pray about it, to see if it's correct or not, is written down in a web page that's called www, and then there is one word. It's www. The warmingsecondcoming.com, and that is one word. Did you understand that?
The warming or warning?
Oh, I will tell you again. It's www. and then thewarmingsecondcoming.com.
Okay.
And there are all those messages included. It's actually very well done, the whole homepage. That's the English page I gave you, okay, there is also a page for Germany, there is one for France, there's one for Italy, there's one for Romania, and it's in the meantime, I believe 80 countries and 80 languages that you get all these messages from. It's without cost. There are people that take their time, it's their personal time, their private time, and they translate it all in their own languages to give it to their people in the different countries. So, what else? I think you need to read into it, and I was wondering the last few months that actually neither you or Steve Quayle or anyone in this show, that all your listeners, that no one was talking about this, and I'm quite surprised. So that's why I actually wanted you guys to know that and look into that. I mean, I hope you will find it in the internet. So I repeat it. It's thewarningsecondcoming.com. Okay,
and that is and I have that right now on my screen. It's the warning, like warning with an N, to warn, to advise. The warning second coming.
To warn. Yeah, there is for me it's a bit difficult to explain now, because last time I talked English is quite a few years ago when I still lived in Colorado. And that is for me, it's a bit out of the ordinary now. So I have to think about every word I'm talking to, okay, in order to not confuse you.
You're doing well.
So I try my best.
No, it's perfect. What we'll do, caller, is we will look at this website. Again, the warningsecondcoming.com. We'll look at it. It's got prophetic voices, prophecies, prophets, safe havens, and such. And you're right; it does have various languages, and we will look into this. And certainly, it's something that
that's actually more than I can expect. The only thing is what I wanted to achieve with this is, please pray over it.
Yes.
Ask the Lord if it's correct or not. Decide for yourself and hand that over to Steve Quayle and others. I want them also to look into this. I want as many people like Henry Gruver, Steve Quayle, and all these people that you actually know much better than all the callers. We don't have personal connection to them, and it will be very difficult for us to reach them in person, to talk about this with them. And that is not it's not up to me to do that, but I just ask you, give them the possibility to look into that by themselves and let them decide, and then maybe you can talk about it in one of your upcoming shows about it. So there's nothing, it wouldn't be right to do that and talk about it without actually praying to our Lord. So anyway, that's one thing. But why am I giving this to you? Well, I personally look into the matter of World War III, what's going on in Europe, our politics, the whole economics around the world since the 90s. In 1992, I read books with all these revelations. It's not a prophecy, it's more like prophecies, since we have in Germany old prophecies from old priests and other people that were very, very humble people, and what they have seen, or what Jesus has shown them in visions, in prophecies, they actually wrote down. And since we are in Germany very meticulous in such things, it was written down in all the churches, all the happenings, all the things people talked about. There is something called a church book in every little village or town, and so we in Germany there is one way of actually writing down our history. So you can look back into what people have experienced in the past. So others in our modern times went back looked into these books and found that there were a lot of visions and prophecies all around in Germany, talking about a Third World War, talking about what's happening in Europe, in the rest of the world, in the New World, which is the United States of America. And so they actually compiled all that. And when I started reading into that in the 90s, when I became interested and were pulled into the church by Jesus and him talking to my conscience, I guess, maybe this little voice in your stomach that tells you should do such and such in order to be a better person and grow in Jesus. So anyway, when I started to look into all these matters, I found there are a lot of interesting things talking about the future, and some of them even became true in my time, in the last 20 years when I started looking into it. And going back to that, the last few months, into that old information about World War III, what will happen in the Far East, Near East, Africa, and so on, I saw that is actually exactly what Henry Gruver saw. It's exactly what Steve Quayle is talking about. It, although Steve Quayle is going much further with all his studies that he undertook with these giants, with all the kind of stuff you find in his books. Is very, very interesting. But anyway, we have had the first people actually talking about World War III in a way that Henry Gruver was talking about it in the 1700s, so around 1750, something like that. They are the first people that saw actually how Russian troops fell into Germany and how Europe was destroyed, that there will be revolutions in France and Italy before the start of the World War III, and everything is actually very, very accurately described in those prophecies or visions, And I just wanted to tell you guys, I do believe that you're very much correct with all the things you're doing. Yeah. So I want you actually to know that there are people around the world enjoying your show and feeling supported by everything you're talking about on your show. I got the feeling, not everything you thought about in the past is incorrect. There are a lot of people around the world that actually say the same thing, and they are, and it's then supported again by people that invest so much of their own time, like you guys, like Steve Quayle and all the others that come there. This Doc Marquis was very interesting, and I just want to tell you that I thank you personally very much for all the work you're doing, and it's very nice to listen to you, and it's just, lifting up the spirits of people, and it's helping me, and, letting you know that I believe you're on the right track with everything you're saying. So we do see the same here in Germany. We do see the same for whole Europe and America, so I hope I could help a little bit, and it was important for me to talk about the warning second coming. And anyway, it was a little bit
Caller, I want to thank you so much for your call, and certainly, number one, we will look at the website. Number two, we do our best to bring the truth to people wherever they are, in Germany or France or anywhere throughout the world. And let me try this, caller. It's been a long time since I took German.
You don't need. Can you? So, caller is okay. You can call me Torsten. That's not a secret, and I'm ashamed of that. So you just call me Torsten. That's the guy from Germany, and that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me give this a try. Let me see how good my German is. Ich danke eine Fuhr in on roof. Did that make...
Excuse me?
Okay. Ich danke Ihnen für
give up while you're ahead.
Ein Roof.
Sorry, didn't understand that. Can you say it in English?
Thank you for your
You tried to tell me?
I was saying thank you for your call. I guess I really butchered that, didn't I? Ich danke. No, I'm sorry. No, I won't even try. But
well, we should talk about later. Don't
yes.
waste too much time of your listeners.
All right. Well, God bless you, Cole. God bless
Anyway,
you. God bless you.
Yes, I thank you. I wish you a good evening, and God bless you all your listeners. That's very important. You're all in our prayers over here in Germany as well. And I wish you a good night later on. I'm getting up soon. All right?
Thank you so much.
Good night,
God
sir.
bless.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. God bless you, too.
Boy, Joe, I just embarrassed the heck out of myself for trying to do that.
Yeah, there you go. That's what you get.
You know what? Yeah, but
it's like me reading English.
Oh yeah, it's been what 30 some years. But anyway,
we're gonna go here to another phone call. We got Lucy in Tennessee.
Okay,
we're gonna go to you now, Lucy.
Hey, Joe and Doug.
How are you?
I'm calling in about the woman who called in about the gap.
Okay.
I believe it's in Luke, and I sent y'all an email. Luke 18, verse 15. Wait a minute. I just lost my...
I think someone said
Luke 16,
yeah.
verse 19 through 31. It's when Lazarus, who was a poor man, and he went to heaven, and a rich man went to hell, and there was a division, and they couldn't get to each other, and the rich man was begging Lazarus to please go and send the father Abraham to his brothers to tell him about hell. And I think that's what the gap was that she was talking about.
Interesting.
I could be wrong.
Well, you know, we'll ask Steve tomorrow, and I know that. Well, I don't know. Honestly, I know so little. I mean, I know how. I guess I should say it this way. I know how little I know about the Bible, which is staggering. I mean,
no, it's doesn't help when you.
The more we seem to know, the less we really know. It seems because there's just so much in it. But wow. That came to me, and I thought I've got to share this with her because she seems sort of very perplexed about it. And I also wanted to call in and praise the Lord for our Jewish friend whose son got home safely.
Oh, isn't that great? That's so great.
Yes. Oh, our Lord is awesome.
Absolutely.
So I love you, men, and I'm so very thankful for each of you.
Well, Lucy, I want to thank you. I know I owe you some responses, but know that
I don't expect y'all to respond to me.
Well, no, I just know that I've gotten your emails and thank you so much, and to you and Marianne and others. I just try to keep up with things. So, but thank you so much for your call.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Thanks,
God
Lucy.
bless.
And we got one more caller here in queue. Area code 859. You're live on the Hagmann and Hagmann Report.
859.
Hey, Sandy.
I did the same thing. As soon as she said the thing about the gap and didn't know what the gap was, I know. But like she said, it's in Luke 16, talking about Abraham, rich man and Lazarus. Rich man goes to hell, and Lazarus went to Abraham's bosom.
Yep.
Which is where they went before Jesus actually paid for our salvation on the cross.
Yep.
And I saw something came up. I'm on my eSword Bible program. And at the same time I brought up the scriptures, the eSword brought up commentary Albert Barnes, and it said, I'll read this, yet he solemnly assures us that there can be no passage from that world of woe to the words of the blessed. Yet, in the face of this, many universalists hold that hell will be vacated of its guilty millions and that all its miserable inhabitants will be received into heaven. So that's, I'm trying to think, there is a universalist religion that believe that nobody's going to hell.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe that might shed a little bit of light on what's going on here.
No, you're right. There is a huge number of so-called Christian churches promoting the opposite of what is the truth, that, you know, most people will go to heaven if they just do good, you know, do the right thing, and you know, just live a good life. But it's so much more than that, and we need to be careful who we listen to, and even ourselves. You know, don't take anything we say. You take it to the Bible, take it to the Lord, and that should be universal for all people, because we can see how the confusion can lead to the caller you're referencing talking about something that is scriptural, but completely out of context, not knowing the scripture also. And this is what happens. It's sad.
I've been kind of preparing too. I got me a new Bible this weekend. It's New King James, but it's called the Companion Bible, and it's got 6-point print in it, and I can just barely read that. I do have a King James that has it's the smallest Bible, but I can't read it anymore. But I'm working on it. I'm trying to get my eyesight back. I work places. I have farsightedness and stigmatism. But
right.
Since I've been eating better as far as eating organic and taking supplements, a lot of things are improving, including my eyesight. And I'm finding I'm going to have to go back to the eye doctor to get glasses that are not as strong as the ones I've been wearing. But I did want to prepare for the time when I needed something small that I could carry with me that could go in my purse. And so I set aside money for that. And that's an absolute essential.
Yes. You've got, you know, and this is a good thing. You know, this is a good thing for you and everyone to really. Now is the time. If you've got medical needs such as glasses, or even dental needs, or you know, whatever, I would use now, this time between now and the end of the year, to do as much of that as you can, get it done, because, you know, you just don't know. I mean, things can happen, things can change.
And not knowing what's going to happen with Obamacare is, you know, I live on disability. I'm wondering, where does this leave me? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. And Obama. Sorry, Sandy, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just say Obamacare is supposed to be helping people, especially those who can't afford health care and, those with disabilities, but it does the opposite. It's going to take away probably from your care. Everybody's going to have rationing of health care. And it's unfair. It's completely illegal and criminal to make us comply and buy
it's immoral as well.
A product from the government, or be taxed or fined because we refuse to buy it. The whole thing is a sham, and the best way I've heard it described is taking money from, another way to remove massive amounts of money from the population and send it to the international bankers.
Yeah. What concerns me the most is they're going to take away our ability to get supplements, because I don't know if you saw this on YouTube. There's one called, I lost it now. Something aspartame and agenda, fluoride, aspartame and agenda 21. And then it goes into the problems of fluoride and aspartame. But then it ties in with Agenda 21, where there's going to be no access at all to health supplements outside of a doctor's prescription. And these days, I've talked to a couple of people that their doctor prescribed vitamin D for them, but it was vitamin D2. And D2 doesn't do the job like D3 does. So, they're substituting poor quality supplements. You've got synthetic vitamins that don't do as well in the body as the real stuff.
No, that's exactly right. And it's not just that.
All this is being pushed on us to make our health poor so we won't fight back.
Yeah, they're destroying the middle class. And it's not medicine they're restricting nutrients from. It is also, everyday foods. We have the GMO, genetically modified foods being not only put on our shelves, but having laws passed that allowing for non-labeling of the GMOs. So it's absolutely criminal.
On top of that, I hear it is illegal to use heirloom seeds. There was a farmer that was arrested and put in jail because he used heirloom seeds from his last crop to plant his next crop. And now you're not allowed to use heirloom seeds.
Yeah. Well, Sandy, it's good to hear from you. We only got a couple minutes left, and we got a couple other news items we got to hit. Anything else you'd like to say before we let you go?
No, not right now. I've got an email started to you. I'll get that to you.
Okay.
A little later tomorrow.
Okay. All right, Cindy. We'll be looking for that. God bless you. You take care. Thank you so much. All right.
Have a great night.
Yes. Now, one thing I want to get into, Joe, real quick here, is the wide picture here of what's going on in the world.
Just for your information, that audio and video is queued up.
Yeah, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's. There's a 2-minute 38-second audio video of Gerald Celente. This will give you a backdrop of the financial leading into the hot war situation. So let's go ahead and play that, and then when that's done, I'll come back and finish.
What are you coming up with on the next 4 years?
We're very concerned about a world war.
Oh, really?
And I don't say that lightly. this is, how they say history repeats itself.
Yeah.
History's repeating itself. The crash of 1929, the Great Depression, currency wars, trade wars, World War, the Panic of '08, the Great Depression. There's a depression going on. In this country, depending on whose numbers you're looking at, there's a site to go to. And the motto of the Trends Journal, taught to me by my dear father, may his soul rest in peace. He always told me anytime I'd be repeating something that everybody else was saying, he'd say to me in Italian, "Pappagallo, parrot, stop repeating what everyone else is saying and think for yourself." So what I'm saying is this is the way I see it, and I always encourage people, think for yourself. And what we're looking at, again, there's a website called John Williams Shadow Stats. You look at his numbers, he's looking at unemployment in the United States ranging from anywhere between 16 and 22%. But go beyond the United States. There's a depression in Spain, a depression in Greece, a depression in Portugal, depression in Ireland, depression throughout a lot of Eastern Europe. So the Great Depression, and then it was followed by currency wars. There's a currency war going on. All of this lowering of interest rates, record low interest rates, is devaluing the currency so the exporters can export more product. Now you hear from Brazil, from Guido Mantega, their finance minister, yelling, there's a currency war going on. China's devaluing. The United States, Europe, they're all debasing their currencies so they can export more. Trade wars. Listen to the presidential reality show. Romney and Obama now are talking trade wars with China, and Obama's bragging about how tough they're getting on them. After that, it's world war. Is there a world war? It's going on now. Go around the world. There's a war in Yemen, a war in Bahrain. There's a war heating up in Kuwait as we speak. Tens of thousands of people are taking to the streets. There's a war in Libya. There's a war in Syria. Oh, now Syria and Turkey are going at it. Whoops, now it's seeped into Lebanon. Go back over to Europe. Millions of people taking to the streets. They've lost everything. People have no jobs. A lot of them have no food or shelter. So we are, as we see it, on the brink of the first great war of the 21st century, and the most important debate of all the three debates that I watched, which again, none of them amounted to anything. To me, it was an empty suit versus stuffed shirt. When you listen to their foreign policy, it's more of the same and worse. They are going to drag us, as we see it, the next 4 years is world war.
All right, there you have it. That was Gerald Celente talking on a radio program about the currency wars and about the state of the state of different countries, and he's right on the money with that. Now, in the end, all wars are fought for money. They're fought for oil, but money is at the root of all wars. Mm-hmm. And if you really, folks, we have to act like adults here and get into the adult conversation and understand that what we see on the evening news is not the truth, obviously. Not the whole truth, not even close to the truth.
No.
It is eye candy. It's ear candy. It is stuff to keep you distracted. At the root of the things that are going on, you've got the Rockefellers, you've got the Rothschilds, you've got the Council on Foreign Relations, you've got the Trilateral Commission, you've got the Illuminati, yes, you've got these different groups.
You crackpot.
I'm a conspiracy crackpot, indeed. I'm Mel Gibson, although not quite as good looking as him in that cab driving, through. Wasn't that the cab in New York City?
In Conspiracy Theory,
yeah,
the movie.
Wasn't that Mel Gibson?
Yes,
right.
But it's just all right. Before I interrupt you more, the point that it's crazy or paranoia. When these people admit it themselves, they're implementing in front of our eyes, and they still have, I don't know, they still think that enough people are brainwashed by their dribble that they can get away with saying stuff like that. I mean, how much more in your face? I mean, I could prove to any person who is, sitting next to me when I have my computer in 10 minutes that there is a plan for a new world order, one world government, and if they don't believe it, then that's the ignorance on their part.
Well, but we all have to but we all have to understand what's taking place here. It's important for our survival. And I've got some. Excuse me, I've got some notes written down here. It would be a lot better if I could actually read my own handwriting, but, without even getting into a lot of notes and what have you. What we're seeing today, the resignations, betrayals, the generals, the General Ham, all of the people that are jumping ship or being forced out. This is a byproduct of the American foreign policy, the Obama regime. Now, this is the most serious, as I indicated before, when I mentioned about the societal chaos and about the run-up. Don't forget, from the French Revolution to World War II to even Korea and Vietnam, and there was always a certain set of circumstances that existed. Now, what I'm going to tell you right now is that Benghazi did not happen in a vacuum. It was not a single point event. It's not just a one-off or whatever they call that. This is a checkpoint in time. This happened because of things that we had done and the other side had done. Now, folks, think about this. Step back from this picture. Look at this as a bunch of puzzle pieces on the table. It would be helpful if you had a picture of the finished puzzle, the box, the picture on the box to go by to put the pieces together. Well, we do. What was taking place prior to Benghazi, in the weeks, the months, and even the year or two preceding Benghazi? Well, remember the Stuxnet virus, Iran going for a nuclear weapon capability. We obviously were doing things to stop that. We introduced the Stuxnet virus. Now, when we do things like that on a nation-state level, in this case against Iran, is it not logical to think, to believe, to suspect that they're not going to, that they're going to, in return, do something against us? Of course they are. Action, reaction. What we have, and I want people to really understand this, and I know I've said this before, but maybe I can refine this a little bit better. We are fighting. We are in a hot war right now. We're fighting a war, a proxy war with Russia. And we have been doing so for quite some time. We had the Cold War. That ended with the fall of the wall, but the war never stopped. Putin is a communist, KGB guy who is holding his ground. Now we are actually through the Obama regime has adopted the cause of the Muslim Brotherhood, and this is why we saw Obama bow down so low to the Saudi king. He is a captured agent of Saudi Arabia. You've got to understand this point. He's a captured agent of Saudi Arabia. If you go back, who paid for his schooling? Where did he get the money from? A lot of the campaign funds. Follow the money. Obama, Saudi Arabia. Now, is it just limited to Obama? Well, in this case, it is. Obama is an entirely captured operation of Saudi Arabia. Bush was a part of the Saudi Arabian connection, but that had to do with oil more than ideology. In this case, it's Obama and ideology. He is actually doing the heavy. What Obama has done, folks, is he has committed our military, your sons, your daughters, your family members, he's committed them on behalf of the objectives of Saudi Arabia. Okay, now, with respect to Benghazi, as I said before,
We took Libya, we took them out. Gaddafi, we took him out. Obama did that. Everyone clapped. Oh boy, the despot is gone. What did Libya have? Well, aside from the 144 plus tons of gold, which summarily gone, before Obama took out Gaddafi, Gaddafi himself, his son Saif, they were cooperating with America, with the United States, turning in members of Al Qaeda, turning in the terrorists, the bad people, to America. They were cooperating. In fact, they had stopped. They did not want to get the heck knocked out of them, the bombs. So they were actually giving up their nuclear ambitions. Yet we took out Gaddafi. Well, everything that was in Libya, and there were chemical weapons in Libya, everything that was in Libya was gathered up. Stevens was part of Stevens was a CIA guy his whole life. He went over to Libya. He gathered up he orchestrated the gathering up of the weapons to funnel ultimately to Syria. That was their ultimate destination. Some went to Jordan, some went to Lebanon, some went to Turkey, the chemical weapons. Some went to were being stored in Turkey. Okay, now there were drone. By the way, there was on 9/11 there's an armed drone flying in the south part of Libya or south of Benghazi, protecting a chemical weapons cache. Anyway, 30 to 40 million tons of weapons for 18 months were flowing from Libya upwards. Okay, now Russia understood that we are attempting to destabilize Syria. That was the objective here, to get Assad out, to replace Assad with the Muslim Brotherhood. Russia said, don't do this. And in fact, I don't have proof for this, but there's enough substantiation for it that Russia had surveillance evidence that we were helping the Ansar al-Sharia in the anti-Assad rebels in Turkey, showing them training them to how to load chemical weapons for use in a false flag operation, to blame it on Assad, bring NATO in, and summarily dispatch Assad in the same manner as we did Gaddafi. Russia gave Turkey an ultimatum. It's either us, meaning Russia, or them, meaning the United States. The Turkish consul general met, imagine this, spy versus spy. This is spy stuff now. The consul general called up Stevens and says, hey man, I got to meet you. Got something really important to talk to you about. Well, I'll meet you in Tripoli at 2 o'clock. No. I need to meet you right now. In fact, we're going to set it up for dinner time. Don Corleone stuff, Godfather stuff. We're going to set you up let's have a meeting at dinner time on the 11th of September at the CIA Operations Center in Benghazi. Folks, there's no consulate in Benghazi. You've got to get that through. You've got to stop calling it a consulate. There's no consulate in Benghazi. It was a CIA Operations Center. Anyway, that's where they met. I can just imagine the conversation. I don't know this to be a fact, but I can, just based on everything I've been able to come up with, the Turkish consul general told Stevens, look, man, hey, the jig's up. The Russians have proof. We're helping Turkey, or we're helping, you guys are helping the anti-Assad rebels. Putin's not happy about it. You got to stop. Well, don't forget, too, under the backdrop of what was taking place, Stevens was calling for more reinforcements. Why didn't we send more? I'll tell you why we didn't send more. We didn't send more because the weapons running operation was winding down. Why? Because we mined all of the weapons out of Libya. There were really no more to get. That wasn't one shipment. That was a whole bunch of shipments. So, as the operation wound down, we did not commit more ground people, but everyone there in Libya was a spy, whether it be from the UK or whatever country. Everybody walking around there was a spy. Back in August, 7 members of the Iranian Red Crescent August 1st, a mortar shell went through the wall of that CIA compound. 7 members of the Iranian Red Crescent looking around saying, holy cow, okay, well, what's going on? They were actually inspecting the damage to see what kind of, what the construction was made of. They were snatched off the streets, 7 members of the Iranian Red Crescent. They were snatched. Folks, if you hear about some kidnapping operation, and by the way, there was no kidnapping operation, no plans to kidnap Stevens, by Obama. No, that never was ever a case. Never.
No.
Okay. But so anyway, it's very likely the CIA captured the 7 members of the Iranian Red Crescent because they saw them inspecting the damage. Okay, well, who's Ansar al-Sharia? Who's backing them? Who's training them? Aside from United, well, I mean, who are they allied with? I should say, who are they allied with? They're allied with Iran. Who started who was down in at Ground Zero on 9/11 there at the CIA Operations Center? It was Ansar al-Sharia. What were they doing? They were looking for the Iranian Red Crescent members on 9/11. That was part of the operation. Part of the operation, a segment of the CIA was telling the Ansar al-Sharia people, "Hey, look for your buddies, the spies, the Red Crescent people might be around the annex." So they were probing the annex. That was part. Don't forget, this is a multi-level spy operation. That was part. They were people there. That was a contingent there. Part of their duties were to look for their buddies that were kidnapped earlier. The attack happened. Stevens and 3 others were killed. There were assets in the area, not 1 but 2 C-130s in the area. 1 C-130 came from Croatia. Another C-130 was in Italy. There were assets there. There were drones there. Obama knew in real time. Petraeus knew in real time. Biden knew in real time. There were people, the global response staff members at any given time. There's about 60, maybe 70 GRS members in the world. They're the people that bail out the SEALs. When James Bond gets in trouble, those are the people that bail out the James Bonds of the world. That's how elite they are. Tyrone Woods was a member of that group. They have the same authority as an executive, as a chief executive, as a president would almost. I'm making this simple, but just imagine that. So all they would have to do is give a code, and they could commandeer an aircraft carrier. Again, I'm just giving this as an example. That's the kind of authority, the weight that they have. They put out that code. Well, there was no backing. Now, for them not to have any backing, there would have to be a stand-down order issued. In other words, somebody would have to say, "Don't help them," because they have a standing order. If they give a code, if you're in the military or whatever branch, you've got to help them. I mean, that's standing. You've got to help them. Well, again, the only person or the only place that the stand-down order could come from is the White House. And if you look closely, and I think that and I suspect, but don't know this for a fact, but I think this will come out. It was Biden that made the decision not to send the reinforcements at the urging of Obama. But I think Biden actually opened his mouth. Obama was in this case, the puppet master. Biden was the puppet in this case. But nonetheless, what we're seeing here in the wider scheme of things is we are being used by Saudi Arabia to fight a proxy war with Russia. Russia is backing Iran with hardware, with military hardware. China is backing Iran with cyber stuff, if you will. Now, I'm going to just throw this out there. Well, you know what? I'm not even going to go there at this point. But folks, you've got to realize this is a the lead up, the run up to World War III. This is how important it is. And do you want to sign on? Do you want to commit your sons, your daughters, your family members to a war? We've already lost 4 people. Syria, there's 40,000 people dead already, and it even hasn't turned hot.
We also have a third explosion in less than a week in Indiana.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at
Indianapolis. That is definitely something we're going to be looking at. Also, will Americans be stripped of citizenship based on accusations? That's something we're going to get into later on this week. And we have Steve Quayle tomorrow at 9 to midnight. Do not miss the show. Thank each and every one of you for listening tonight. God bless you all.
Sorry I ran long.
Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
And ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the prosecution is not going to get that man today. No, because I'm going to get him.